WPEN Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Good morning. Thought I'd help you wake up.
It's 6 a.m. and you're listening to The John Kincade Show, Philadelphia's longest-running sports talk morning show. On 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Let the party begin!
The show starts now.
Yeah, it does, and a party it's going to be today. Getting ready for Game 2, Sixers-Boston tonight. This is the John Kincade Show. John is under the weather today, so we wish him well. Hope he returns shortly. In the meantime, Bob Cooney, Pat Egan, we got Connor Thomas, Coach Eric Camille running the show here. And in about an hour, we're going to have one Jamie Lynch joining the show once again. So here it is, Game 2, Wednesday. Can't wait. All pumped up. Joel Embiid is, Pat, your NBA MVP. I know you're excited. I know it made it easier for you to get out of bed this morning, made the drive shorter to work today. All pumped up you are.
None of that.
No, none.
None of that happened.
No.
Dude, it's weird. I really thought I'd be more pumped about the MVP. And I'm just kind of like here, like, all right.
That's because you knew he was going to get it.
I guess so. But it's a weird feeling. Like I had taken it as such a personal attack last year when he didn't win. And then like it's
personal attack on you.
It's hashtag vindication for Embiid and I was just kind of like, okay.
No, nothing.
No, I was more and I wouldn't even use the word upset. I was more surprised that James Harden wasn't even in the list. They send a
list of top
guys,
5,
yeah,
right?
Whatever, it was like top like 10 or 15.
Oh, okay.
James Harden wasn't even listed. Like Jalen Brunson got more MVP votes than James Harden. Maybe I missed him, but I looked a couple times and didn't see his name, and I was really surprised about that.
You're looking for the negative. You got to steer towards the positive, Pat.
Yes.
The MVP of the NBA resides right here in our town.
But it's something that I've seen once in my lifetime with AI, and it's pretty cool, I guess. But then again, I guess the reason why I'm not overly excited about it is I felt like this dude's been the MVP for the last 2 seasons.
I wonder if he feels the same way. What about you, Connor?
I'm
Pumped,
super
psyched?
pumped up.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
I mean, I've seen, 2 MVPs really in my lifetime. I'm not going to count Iverson. I was 6 years old. Like, it's not the same thing as being able to really understand what it means and remember it and remember the season they had. It's Harper. It's Embiid. It's incredible. Like, and I've never...
You don't remember Jimmy?
I'm sorry. Jimmy
Ryan?
and Ryan. I'm an idiot. I missed
That's
the
fine.
two.
You don't like baseball.
Yeah,
we know that.
Yeah, I'm not a baseball guy. I don't really follow the Phillies all that much. I apologize. It's the 2 of like my adult lifetime though, and it's been a while since Jimmy and Ryan. Like that's pre-2010. You're looking at the last decade since I've really been an adult. There's been kind of a dead zone of it, and then Harper gets it 2 years ago, and now you've got. Embiid takes it home, and yeah, like Pat's right. He's deserved it for a couple years, so it's not exactly the most surprising thing. It's not like, oh, this guy that we didn't expect to be this good all of a sudden became this MVP out of nowhere. Or you signed some guy that you didn't think you were ever going to have, like Bryce Harper, and he becomes an MVP or he wins a second MVP. Like, no, we saw the process of Joel Embiid turning into this guy. It's just incredible to see him realize it. He so deserves it. On an individual level, it's just great to see how happy he is about winning that award.
Yeah, his reaction last night, it looked like they were in a room of the hotel in Boston. All his teammates around him, some other people, they announce it. Head goes in hand, tears. Teammates couldn't even get him out of the tears. They're trying to hug him and shake him, and he just sat there with his head in his hands. A lot of emotion for him last night. The breakdown, if people didn't see it, 100 votes. Joel Embiid gets 73 first-place votes, a grand total of 915 points there. Jokic comes in second, 15 of 100 first-place votes. Giannis comes in third with 12 first-place votes. So kind of a landslide. Pretty cool. You mentioned the MVPs of the Sixers. There have been 5 now. I've seen 4 of them, Pat.
Okay, so
I didn't see Wilt. A little before my time. Saw Doc's year, the year he won it. Moses Malone's year, the year he won it, and the Sixers won the championship. That may have been the most dominant season I've seen from a basketball player in Philadelphia. He was just,
Really?
oh my God. And
More
the
than this
numbers,
one.
huh?
More than this one.
Yeah, it's and plus I'll look up his 83 numbers.
Why do you hate Joel?
I don't. I love Joel. But that team, that may have been besides the Chicago Bulls, that's one of the top 5 NBA teams of all time. And when you're the best player on a team that boasts what could have been 4 or 5 Hall of Famers, that's saying something. Moses Malone was just unbelievable. Every rebound was his. That was the most dominant season to me. And this one is right up there with them. And Iverson's of 01 was also really cool. So we'll see. We'll see what this award does for them. Does it propel them to an NBA Finals appearance at the least, and maybe a championship? But before we get into that, I wanted to do the morning mind bender with us today, Coach. According to a study done by online shopping service List, 45% of these online purchased items get returned more than any other item. Patrick, I'll start with you. What are they?
Clothes.
That's what I was saying. I thought it was kind of a no-brainer. Do we have to be more specific?
Yeah, be more specific. What kind?
Thongs.
I'll go. You're an idiot. I'll go shoes.
Damn it. See,
Connor goes, damn it.
no, I'm not going damn it. I don't think you can return that. Not a tangible thing. I was going to go shoes as well.
Thongs is a pretty good guess.
Thongs is a good one. I'm also going to go shoes. I'm just going to hedge my bet with Bob's answer.
Okay. You're a smart man. Maybe or maybe not.
Yeah, all good guesses except for Pat.
Jeez.
How about in the springtime here? What are people purchasing mostly online?
Sunglasses.
How about swimsuits?
Thong and swimsuit, same thing, Pat. You were right there.
It's not.
He's not that
It is
far off.
kinda
Yeah,
there.
I'm
Thong
not
is
going to
not a
listen to the
swimsuit.
guy that.
Don't tell that to some people at the beach these days.
I'm not going to listen to some guy that returns his GIMP mask.
Wow. No response, Coach.
No.
He's on your nerves already.
Yeah, he is. Move on.
6:07, and he's already on your nerves.
It's probably a good idea that he's sitting in the other room today.
I get a little chesty when I'm not in the same room as him.
Yeah?
You can tell.
That's
Yeah.
all right. I kind
Yeah.
of like the dynamic.
There's that barrier between me and Coach. There's that love-hate thing, but there's that barrier now.
A lot of hate.
It's-
not a lot of love.
He loves to hate. That's where it is. All right, so Embiid gets the MVP last night. You got game 2 tonight. I had an interesting phone call, Pat. You weren't here. Connor was in here when I got it. Got a phone call at 5:57. Interesting idea. And you guess who was on the other side of the phone, Pat?
Rock.
That's right. It was Rock. Interesting idea.
5:57. He calls you.
Why not play Embiid tonight? And I said, well, I don't know all this. And he goes, okay, fine. How about if you dress him, though? How about if you have him on the bench? How about the Sixers are up, I don't know, 2 to end the first half? You throw him out there as a defensive presence. You know, different things like that. Would you dress him tonight if he's not going to if he's not going to start and play 30, 35 minutes?
All right, so I criticize the fact that he's calling you with 3 minutes before we go live on air.
That's what he said. As soon as I picked up, he said, real quick. He wanted to put it into my head.
yeah, but you
just
know,
as
I got
the
a
show
feeling
started.
that I got a feeling that Rock is always like a real quick guy.
That's pretty personal.
No, I meant more like
5
like
kids,
every time he calls you up, it's like, hey, real quick.
No, it's
okay.
not. No, we can have conversations that'll take me my whole ride home
That's
after
cool.
work some days.
I wish I had friends. Interesting thought though that
It is kind of
hadn't-
interesting,
I hadn't
right?
Even thought about. So Rock, if you're listening, good job by you. I would dress him. I would play him. You know, Devon. We talked to Devon yesterday about his thoughts on it, and going into yesterday's show, I was straight up, do not play him at all, and sit him and play him Friday. He's going to get the MVP award Friday. He comes in, he's got the MVP award, he's got the city behind his back, gets the crowd fired up, and you kind of saw what happened with, and this was, 22 years ago, but you saw what happened with AI when he got the MVP award. They ended up winning that game. It was big for the team and the boost. But Devon kind of swayed me to just play him. If though he's not 100%, I don't think it's the stupidest thing in the world to just kind of have him in the mindset of the Boston Celtics of they can bring him in at any time.
Yeah, I mean, Connor's in there shaking his head, so I'm anxious for your response. But think about it. Sixers come out, warm up. There's Embiid doing warm-ups, got the uniform on, gets himself a little bit of sweat. The starting lineup will have already been announced, so say he's not in it. And people are like, oh, Well, the MVP's here tonight. How about that? Maybe you don't want him taping up and putting the sneakers on. But this is just a side piece of what we're really going to talk about. But Connor, him just getting in the warm-ups and being on the bench, you're not for it.
Not at all. And in fact, I've gone the opposite way as to whether or not he should play tonight. Since winning the MVP and they announced it and seeing his teammates' reaction, he shouldn't dress. He should be on the bench.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you see how much this team cares about Joel Embiid. Do you see how much they want to win for him? If you put him on the bench and just do something where it's just like, oh, he looks like he dresses, maybe we'll mess with Boston. I don't know.
He's just there.
No, I got you, but he was not dressed. Like, that's weird to me. But if he's there and he's not available and it comes out 2 hours before the game, Joel Embiid can't play in game 2. You know what that says to his teammates? Guys, you got to carry the MVP again. This guy did everything for you guys this year. He fully deserves to be able to come back in game 3 with a 2-0 lead at home, get the job done for Joel Embiid when he's not available for you, because he was able to do it all year when you guys weren't at your best.
All right, that's kind of a side story to what the main story is. Very good points by you, but it is the side story. The main story is, will Joel Embiid play tonight? So let's just go back to a little bit. They talked to Doc Rivers yesterday. Doc Rivers was interviewed about winning game 1. I loved his reaction. He said, game 1's over. 1-0. There's nothing you can do about it. It's 1-0, I guess, but who cares? It's time for game 2. I love that mentality. I really think he's tried to incorporate that into his team. Haven't done anything yet. Our goal isn't just to get out of the second round, so looking at each game at a time. They then asked Doc Rivers, well, since you've won game 1, what does it mean about Joel Embiid playing game 2? And he said nothing. It's totally health-based. So the fact that they won last night or Monday night doesn't come into play as far as what his decision is going to be on Joel Embiid. So I don't think there's any way he's playing. Now, I'm not giving an opinion if he should or should not, if I would or would not. I don't think there's any way in hell he's playing because he hasn't gotten a sweat yet. He hasn't gone up and down the floor all that much yet. We heard reports of him doing a little bit of running yesterday. A little bit of running. This is an NBA playoff game. I need him out there getting out there, getting a full workout, getting a lot of things done. And had he done that, we would have heard it. So I don't think he's ready to go yet. And I don't want to risk anything with him going yet. Pat, where are you on that, being that I just gave you the information that he hasn't really run up and down all that much and worked up a sweat and played?
So I was, and to the listener, I might sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but if he's healthy, play him. Mm-hmm. But by everything you just told me, it doesn't sound like he's healthy.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he's ready to go because, as you laid out perfectly, he hasn't really broken a sweat. I mean, we're talking light jogging compared to up and down the court of an NBA playoff game. I mean, we know how Joel Embiid plays. He doesn't play timid. He doesn't play a slow game. He doesn't play this, fast break, I'll just let him go. Like, he's jolting down the court to try to block shots and whatnot. Kind of saw that the last game he played. So because of that, it leads me to believe that he's not going to play anyway today because, how do you just throw him out there?
Yeah.
We talked a lot about Bryce Harper and about whether or not Bryce Harper's ready to come back. And I always made the point that, well, look, Bryce Harper's good to go because they have checked every box 15 times. He's the most important guy on the team. With Joel Embiid, they're checking boxes 20 times. But it seems like they haven't even checked any real boxes.
Yeah.
They're like in the preliminary stages of even looking at if they can check a box because we're talking about throwing a guy out there who is just rehabbing his knee injury and is doing light shots on the court.
I mean, the fact the other day we saw him taking shots, standing straight up, not leaving the floor, just taking 8 to 10 footers. To me, that's just not ready. And maybe that's my background with covering the league was the majority of coaches talking injuries like, look, I got to get him on the floor to play a little bit before I can throw him back into a game. And I don't think he's been there yet. Connor, where do you think he is? And what do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, now, first of all, we don't know that he hasn't broken a sweat yet. Like hotels, he might not be able to control the air. Like sometimes if I have one too many ham sandwiches, I can break a sweat. He might have sweat.
Maybe he's running a little bit with the, I don't know, Montrezl Harrells of the world after practices, after shoot-arounds. But we haven't heard a thing about that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. He's not stretched out. He's not like it's not like he's getting.
He could go to the
full-
stretch zone if he had to with John.
That's a fair point.
Right?
Good work by you, Bobby.
Thank you.
I don't know, man. See, that's the thing. We have such little information about what he's able to do because the Sixers are so variable with how they report injuries and everything about him. So I don't know what's going on with the guy's knee. I don't know if it's supposed to be a 4 to 6 week injury. I don't know if it was supposed to be a week injury like they initially reported. It seems like he's close, but ultimately, no, Pat's right. You're right. If he's not healthy, he's not playing. You're not going to try and force the guy to get back out there because, frankly, you don't need him to push it for Game 2. Would you like him to? Yeah. Would you like to see yourselves come back up 2-0 to play in Philly, to have a chance to sweep the Celtics? Sure. But if you come back 1-1, that's a positive road trip. And we're not looking to take consolation prizes. It's just we're also not looking to cost yourselves Joel Embiid for the rest of the playoffs.
No, this is the beautiful thing about them taking Game 1. Is the conversation.
It's luxury.
The conversation isn't, man, he's got to play tonight.
Right.
Like, all right,
Tonight's
are you
must
doing
win
it-
for
are
one
you-
team.
Yeah, are you doing it a disservice of throwing him out there? But how are we supposed to win? No, like they took Game 1, so it really is a luxury. And you're right. I didn't think about that, but it's a must win for the Boston Celtics because they know he's coming down the pike. Like he's waiting in the wings. He's going to be back eventually. I mean, the odds of him not playing this series, I'd be kind of shocked at. But if you're the Boston Celtics, you got to be a little concerned right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, you got to take this game tonight.
It's must win for them.
Yeah, you
must win for them.
You can't afford to go to Philadelphia down 0-2.
And I can hear Devon's voice in my head when I say it's must win for Boston, and Devon saying, well, then play him. If he can go, then play him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's two different arguments.
Yeah, it kind of is.
The one argument is, if he's healthy, do you play him because you don't necessarily need to? You already split in Boston. The other argument is, well, is he even healthy at all? And I think, one leads to the other, obviously. But the first argument is he healthy at all? I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I don't
think he's fully.
We would have gotten an update on him doing a little bit more than light jogging up and down a court. That's stuff that senior citizens do.
Yeah,
they jog up and down a court. They walk the mall.
That's what they do. Yeah. Well, speaking of Boston, we got a Boston fan on the phone. Mike, Washington Township here on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
Nah, just it sounds like you guys are riding that. Like once they go back to Philly, like you guys take control of the series, whatever happens tonight. But Boston just took 3 in Atlanta. Now I know okay, Atlanta, Philly, little different fan bases. Philly's a lot more passionate, but Boston can go on the road and win. What you guys did well in Game 1. You guys stayed in contention with us in the first half. Throughout the season, what we've been doing was getting big leads in the first half and then blowing it in the third quarter, which did not happen this time. You guys stayed tight, and then at the end, when the pressure was on the line and Tatum had to, shoot the ball, it just didn't get done. That's what he's been doing all season. That's why he was not in MVP contention towards the end of the season. You guys did very well, but this is still in the hands of Boston right now. Like they still can.
Nah, you lost your hand when the Sixers took Game 1. Sorry, Mike. We're not putting up with a Boston fan this early in the morning. No chance.
Why did we?
No chance. No
Why
way.
did we do that?
Well, he called and he was nice enough to listen, so why wouldn't
I do
we?
appreciate him listening.
Yeah,
but
thank you, Mike. We much appreciate it.
I was more concerned with the fact that we could clearly hear ourselves.
Yeah, that was kind of weird too.
Talked.
Yeah, because I don't like the sound of my voice. Pat, a lot of people today are questioning real quick on the YouTube chat. You okay?
Dude,
They say you look like you've been hitting the bong pipe.
I know. My allergies have been
Yes,
bad. So we went golfing yesterday real quick.
We did.
We were
Brian
lucky-
Dawkins golf outing.
Yeah, we were lucky enough
unbelievably
to-
great time.
to be out there. It was a blast. And I don't usually like golf outings for the sense of they're always during allergy season, like really bad allergy season.
Good point.
And I don't do well with allergies.
You do
No
not.
matter how many pills I take, it's hit or miss whether they work or not. Yesterday was a good day.
You did have a good day yesterday.
I mean, and by the way, and I'm so bad with allergies that I will take a full tissue box in my golf bag with me.
yes, you will. I've seen it.
Didn't need it. Was fine. Got in the car, left, and that's when all hell broke loose. And it's been like this since 3:30 yesterday. Like it's been rough.
Well, we are
So,
feeling
no,
your pain.
I didn't smoke that King Kush.
No?
Johnny King Kush.
You were thinking of it though.
Did think about it though.
Yeah.
Pass that Dutchie.
Maybe that'll clear up the allergies. 6 o'clock hours brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White is here for the pro. A lot of talk today. Sixers, Celtics, Phillies. Connor will let us know what happened with them a little bit later on. Not a good night for them. Bryce Harper returns. Not a great night for him either. But it's mostly Sixers, Celtics today. Game 2 tonight. This is the John Kincade Show here at 97.5 The
on Odyssey. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show here, 97.5 The Fanatic. Bob Cooney, Pat Egan, Connor Thomas, Coach Eric Camille. Jamie Lynch is going to be joining us very soon as we get ready for the big game 2 tonight in Boston, 8 o'clock. Devon and I will be doing pregame show from 6 to 8. Take you right into
right?
Sixers action. Yeah, man, we're going to be here for a while. And then, of course, as we just heard, Tom McGinnis will take us through the game as only he can do. And we'll see what happens, see how it all plays out. I want to remind everybody, Friday, we're doing our first Friday show. It's this Friday. So if you want to be a part of our live studio audience, all you have to do is go to 975thefanatic.com and secure yourself a spot with a guest. Deke's Barbecue is bringing breakfast, Pat.
I enjoy that place.
I
Quite a bit.
that just made my mouth water as I was saying it. Deke's Barbecue for breakfast. Connor, I know you're going to get in on that.
I've never had Deeks before.
Well,
Oh,
you're
dude,
going to
it's
have it
really
on
good.
Friday.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a staple.
You don't have to convince me to have breakfast. Like,
Yes.
I'll eat breakfast
Yeah,
from anywhere.
you're a
but,
pretty
like,
good eater.
Deeks sounds like it's a great spot.
Pat's a pretty good eater. He got mad at me because I didn't make fun of.
You were shaming me.
I wasn't shaming you. So we were at the Brian Dawkins golf outing yesterday at Penn Oaks. What a great, great time. Thank you to Brian for hosting all of our shows yesterday. And so after we got done our show, we went to have breakfast. Now, I got an omelet. I believe you got, what'd you get, Connor?
I got some eggs and some potatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pat came back with his plate, which was about as tall as him. You had a lot of food on there, buddy.
You were fat shaming me.
I was not fat shaming. I said
I don't appreciate it.
we met our friend Kevin, another participant in the outing, sitting at our table, and all I did was look over and said, "Man, that guy can eat." Speaking of vegan, that's not. Is that
he kept
bad,
harping
Connor?
on it.
Well, how much food was it? Like, was it enough
was a
that
lot.
you couldn't see the bottom of the plate?
No, it was
what?
It was an omelet. It was 2 things of like
French toast.
ham.
Right, 2 pieces of French toast, 2 pieces of ham, an omelet filled with
cheese, bacon, tomato.
I mean, that's not bad. That's pretty good breakfast. And he's not even done describing
Wait,
everything
that's
that he
all
had.
it was?
And then like 3 pieces of bacon.
Yeah, it's not that bad, Bobby.
It
Bob
looked
made it
a
out
lot
to
to
be way
me.
more than it was.
It looked like he had
And
like
then he
4
kept bringing
entrees
it up
there.
because he kept shaming me.
I wasn't shaming. I was impressed.
That's the thing. He hides behind that. Oh, I was impressed. No, like
I'm not
he kept
hiding. I'm
pointing
right
it out
here.
of how much food I was eating.
I was impressed.
I didn't like it.
I
just wanted
apologize.
to eat. Yeah, and for those out there, I eat like that 1 meal a day. Like that was it.
Okay.
That would've been my
it was
one meal.
great. I wasn't fat shaming.
You know I'm self-conscious about that.
Oh,
Put on
stop.
some LBs.
You're just.
Do you guys need to make up or something? I
No,
feel like
we're
there's some
okay.
tension in
Make
there.
out?
I don't know what kind of tension it is. I don't think it's that kind of tension.
No, I don't think it's ever going to be that kind of tension. All right, so don't forget Friday. If you want to come into our first Friday show, you want to be a part of the live studio audience, all you have to do, YouTubers, listeners, streamers, wherever you are out there, come and see us. We love to put faces to names. So secure yourself a spot. We're going to have Deke's Barbecue for breakfast. We're going to have in Keith Pompey, Mark Zumoff, comedian Harlan Williams, and others are scheduled to appear. So it's a fun day. You come out, you get to see the show, we just, hang out, talk sports. It's what we do, Pat. So if you're in for Friday, get on 97.5 The Fanatic and sign up with you and a guest. All right, question for you dudes, all of you, and it has to be a quick answer. Bell ringer for Friday night, go. Pat.
I don't have a good answer.
Connor.
Bob Cooney.
Come on.
Pat Egan. I don't know. You said quick. You didn't say
you
good.
said quick.
Good.
And that's the
Good,
thing.
quick answer.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
now that changes things.
Will Smith is.
All right, Will
God, they've
Smith.
never
I got
gotten.
people on YouTube saying it's got to be Allen Iverson. Coach, you're shaking your head no?
Iverson's always good, but I would go Embiid.
You got to tell AI though that.
Ooh.
I got the best one here.
Well, here's the thing. If it's Embiid, coach, then he's not playing.
No, that's not true.
You're right. Actually, you have a point.
When he did the mask game, the Phantom of the Process, he rang the bell before he came back.
Oh, he
to play.
did. I got the ultimate.
I apologize, coach.
And I don't think it could happen, but I have the ultimate.
Okay, who is it?
Jarvis Farnado.
Howie Roseman.
Ooh.
Dude, that would be cool after this draft. Why not?
See, because Howie doesn't have that personality to get the crowd
He
up.
just had the best draft for the second best team in the whole NFL.
That's great.
I
but
think
what,
that would be awesome.
what is Howie Roseman going to sound like? Like, let's go to the crowd. Like,
Nobody does sound. They just ring the bell, Connor.
Yeah, but I mean, you can imagine
He's going to
someone.
go, let's go.
Exactly.
Well, here's
That's
the
not
thing.
really.
The guys that have gotten the crowd fired up recently, it hasn't really worked out. Like, and I'm thinking of Triple H coming with the sledgehammer, actually breaking the bell.
Somebody
He hit it
mentioned
so
Triple
hard.
H on here, yeah.
And man, I was so fired up for that. Like, it was awesome. Because Embiid comes out, he's doing the water thing, he's doing the whole Triple H thing. Triple H got into it, which was cool. And then they got hammered, and it wasn't fun. So I just don't know how much of a pop you're
Come
gonna
on.
get from Howie Roseman.
Come
And
on.
That's not to say that there isn't a time and place to have Howie Roseman there.
The time and place is Friday night,
No,
Pat.
the time and place would have been the first round, but he was busy with his own draft and his own thing going on.
First round doesn't matter. It's the Celtics.
Well, that's the thing.
He's the town's hero.
I feel like the Sixers at times kind of waste some good names on first round. That's the time where you have
They had Nick Sirianni and Larry Boa.
That's okay. That's fine. Those
Howie.
Those are first names.
So-
I want
those are
Howie.
first round names.
The Phils are at home, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bryce Harper, he's DHing. He's going to have time in between at bats.
Nah.
Comes over
now
in
you're,
full.
now you're just being silly.
Comes over in full uniform,
Cleats and everything.
with the bat, and rings the bell with
Yeah.
his bat.
All right, that's stupid. Howie Roseman, coach, you agree? Howie.
Nah.
Oh, my God. You guys don't. You
I don't
just
want
don't have
Howie
any
walking
energy.
out on the court.
You don't
trying
have
to
any
pump up
energy.
the crowd.
I don't
What is
think-
that noise in there? Are we?
Whoa.
There's a lot going on.
I know. I was going to say it sounded like there was
Yeah.
a TV going or
All
something.
of a sudden, it's like you just can't roll with the punches.
I'm rolling.
Oh, what's that noise in there? I want to know.
I'm distracted.
People are working.
There you go.
All right. Wow. Okay.
Connor's yelling at Brendan back there.
Getting real comfortable in that. seat.
It's getting weird. Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small businesses, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I like being called even a parent. You're even a parent. How do you like that?
You are
I am. You are.
allegedly.
Yeah. Most of us are. All right, so tonight, big game, Sixers. I don't think Embiid's playing. I think we took a poll, right, Coach? Took a poll. I think our YouTube people went 60-40 not playing. If I was a bettor and people are making fun of me, Bob, you said before you thought he was going to play game one. I did. I said I would be shocked if he didn't play one. I was shocked he didn't play game one. So I don't know what else to say. I'd be shocked if he plays game two now. That's how I'm feeling. So Harden aside, let's look into intangible players. Who's big tonight? Who has to do something different tonight? Whether it's a starter, whether it's off the bench. Who do you need more from tonight, Pat, if the Sixers are going to have to compete with the Celtics once again without the league's MVP?
I can't say you need more from James Harden because asking for
That's
more
impossible.
45 points is it's
Yeah.
not possible, but it's going to be a tough task. I will go with Tobias Harris though. I think he had a nice game. I just think he needs to be more in the 30 total points, rebounds, assists. He was at 26, but it's really tough to pinpoint one guy because I felt like everybody kind of did their job. They did their role and they filled in admirably. The question is, can James Harden repeat the game that he had? Probably not. Okay. Can DeAnthony Melton repeat his game? Well, that's more obtainable, yes, but will it happen? I don't know. So if you're looking for a minor step up, I'll go with Toby. If you're looking for a major, I need you to fill in a little bit, 10 points more, George Niang just only hitting 1-3.
Yeah, I just don't see a
Probably-
spot for him this series.
You don't, not just because defensively?
Dude, it is
I know he's bad.
unbelievable. Just watch tonight, guys. When he comes into the game, I can almost guarantee that the Celtics will give the ball to the player he's covering and run in isolation. It'll be a dribble drive. It'll be whatever. But they just pick on him as soon as he comes in the game, and he can't stay with anybody.
Okay.
So if he comes in the game and does get minutes, Pat, I think you have to go zone. And you have to try to hide him somewhere in the matchup zone. Maybe it's in a corner, weak side ball, but Boston's going to find him. I just think this is a tough game for him a series for him to actually get going. Connor, you got anybody that you think you need to see more from tonight?
Yeah, you know what? It's not really going to be the most popular answer, and it's not what the guy does. But I'd like to see PJ Tucker score. I know
Corner jump shot.
That's the thing. We talked about it yesterday. Harden is going to be they're going to try and take him away. He just hung 45 on their heads. He's going to be the guy. They're like, we got to stop him. In secondary, we got to stop Maxey. And that means there's going to be more opportunities for jump shooters, or at least there should be if they move the ball well. And I know there's this whole fun thing like, oh, PJ Tucker doesn't have to score. He rebounds. He plays tough defense. He sets screens. That's great. I'm not saying PJ Tucker had any type of issues in game one. But if they take Harden away and he gets open looks, he seemed hesitant to take some of the shots that we saw him take in the regular season in game one.
Why do you think that is? Because I think I'm spot on why it is.
Because he's their best rebounder without Embiid out, and he doesn't know that anyone else is going to be able to board if he's pulling from outside.
I think if he's shooting from the corner and he misses, it's 2 points 5 seconds later for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I think they fast break right out of it. Sixers don't get back. And that's the killer thing. When you're playing the Celtics, them getting easy baskets, and I don't know, maybe you listeners feel it too, that they get these easy transition baskets. They start the game with 3 backdoor cuts and dunks and layups. That drives me bat bleep crazy when the Celtics just beat you with smarter basketball. And it seems like if they get a block shot, it's a layup at the other end 5 seconds later. If you miss a corner 3, it's a layup down the other end 5 seconds later. I think one of the reasons he's hesitant, and he dribbled twice out of open shots, Connor, you're absolutely right. Dribbled twice out of open corner threes, I think because he's afraid if he misses, it's 2 points the other way. And you can't have that kind of mentality if you're a shooter.
Well, is PJ Tucker a shooter? Like, he's not on the team to be one. He can make that shot.
Well, that's the only thing he can do offensively.
Rebound. He can rebound offensively.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the thing. That's why I'm not saying it's something that's like necessity to them winning.
Right.
But when I look at it and I say, who can give you a little bit more, and who do I see? Like, he had 0 points. It's the easiest thing to go up from 0 to 3. Like, it's the easiest thing to improve upon. So if he has that open look, I want to see him take 1 or 2.
A three's a three. I mean, Niang hit a big 3 the other night.
Right.
That's a really good one by like what Connor said there of if I'm looking for someone to give you a little bit more, because it's really tough to find fault with nearly anything.
Right, exactly.
So it's not like we're harping on one particular guy, but yeah, I think Connor laid it out perfectly. If you're looking for someone to just give you a little bit more, because I feel like as a team, they played a really, really nice game.
And if you hit a couple corner threes, now Boston has to get out on it.
Exactly.
Now it opens the floor even more for a Hart and a Maxey to look to drive to the basket. All right, Angelo in the Northeast has an idea of who should ring the bell on Friday. Angelo, what's going on? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, buddy?
I know it would never happen, just because of how the team treated him. But I think Sam Hinkie would be the perfect bell ringer.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
It would never happen, but just for him taking the chance on Embiid after that injury, and being the start of the process, I think it would fit perfectly.
Yeah, thanks, Angelo. That's interesting. Hinkie's name does come up a lot. I don't think he'd do it. That's
Really?
that's not Sam Hinkie's style.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd do it. And B, you're talking 50%. Do you really want to kind of divide the fan base? Because there's people that don't like him and there's people that like him, and that's not a slam dunk to me.
But Joel loves him. And if you see that embrace between it, no one's going to be like, oh, damn, why is Hinkie here? If you see him hugging Joel Embiid in an emotional embrace because he basically gave the guy the nickname and the moniker that he has.
I'm so into the hugs today.
What do you mean? That's the first time I
You
brought
told
up
me
hugs.
and Pat to hug.
I said make up. I didn't say hug.
You say watching his teammates hug him last night shows you how much they love him and they want to win this game for him.
That's just factual of what happened. I'm just
You're
recapping
a love
things.
child this morning.
Okay, I could use a hug soon.
All right, I'll come in on the break. Frank in Philly, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, Frank.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, buddy?
I think Joel should sit until we lose. That's just how I feel. And I think Tobias, last game, he scored points, but he had one, and that was late in the fourth quarter. He has to de-up Tatum. He has to put a body on him, or Brown, one of that. He can't play soft today. 56 points in the paint, cannot happen again, or we're getting torched tonight. And that's how
I Frank, it's funny. When he did commit that one foul, I said the same thing out loud. And thanks, Frank. I said, I can't believe he just has one foul. Like, seriously, it's a physical game. You only have one foul? I mean, you're not out there just to foul, but, You got to be a little bit more physical. Coach, what's on your mind?
Frank just said Embiid should sit until they lose, correct?
Yes, he did.
We have a poll up on we had a 5-minute poll up on the YouTube chat. If cleared, should Embiid play tonight? 65 to 35. 65% said, yeah. I don't understand 35% of the people out there saying if he's medically cleared, he should sit. I don't understand. It blows my mind that people would say, well, we're leaving Boston with a 1-1 split and we're coming home. Just like Devon, why wouldn't you put the MVP of the league in a game when you can go up 2-0 and come home and end it here? I don't understand it.
No, I agree with you. And the way the question was worded is proper. If he's cleared. So people can't be confused with, should you play him? No, if he's cleared. If he's medically cleared, the doctors say, yes, you're good to go. Yeah, I agree with you. He's got to be out on that floor if they clear him. I don't think he's going to be cleared. I don't think he's ready to play. Well, that's just where I am on it, and that's why I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah, here's the other part of the argument, though. Medically cleared means it doesn't mean healthy. It means healthy enough.
Yeah.
So some people might be afraid that, like the Bryce Harper thing that we talked about yesterday, sure, medically cleared, but does that mean you're not at a higher risk of injury than if he was fully healthy? No. So some people might still be afraid that he gets hurt even when he's perfectly healthy. If you put him out there with a slight knee injury, if it is slight and he gets cleared, then that puts you back in territory to have him re-injure it.
He's not going to be healthy for the remainder of the playoffs, no matter how you put it. There's going to be he's not going to be 100% for the next round and a half, 2 rounds and a half. He's not. So at some point, you're going to have to say, okay, he's medically cleared. Go ahead and let him play, and let's see what happens.
Well, I love that you ended it like that. Let's see what happens. The big thing is there's probably going to be swelling after he plays. So that affects the next game. That lets you know, is he good enough to go the next game? That evidence kind of makes you lean towards, well, sit him no matter what tonight. So he's ready on Friday night at home. You're going to get that extra boost with the MVP announcement. All of those things, that may carry him through a little bit more pain Friday night. I just don't think he's ready to go. I don't think they're going to play him tonight. Doc Rivers says it's all health-based. There has to be a tinge, just a tinge of being up 1-0 that might come into that decision tonight.
I would think, how could it not? How could it not come up? He knows that in the back of his mind, he walked into this series going, okay, guys, we want to split in Boston. I'm sure he had this conversation. Now, with the team, obviously, he says, let's take both games.
Right. Back of his mind.
In the back of his mind, in the back of everybody's mind, it's, hey, split in Boston. Well, you just guaranteed yourself that. So how can he sit there and go, yeah, do we need him? Do we absolutely need him? If we're thinking it, how can he not be thinking it?
Yeah, it's a tough decision, and we won't know probably again until about 5:30 tonight. I don't think the team will announce it this morning. You talked about yesterday at the golf outing, gamesmanship and all. I don't think the Sixers will come out after shoot-around today and say, yeah, Joel Embiid's out. It'll be another 6 o'clock tonight, a couple hours before the game, I think is when we'll check it out. All right, we got a lot more Sixers-Celtics talk coming up. We'll check in on what happened with the Phillies and Bryce Harper last night with Connor. Jamie Lynch is going to be joining us, and I want to tell you now that you have to imagine if your favorite casino came with an undo button. We'll get
best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
This makes me think of you, Pat, this song.
Why?
I don't know.
I've seen Biz at Eagles games.
Yeah, wasn't he from Delaware?
Yeah, he's from Delaware. He's big Birds
I thought he
fan.
passed away.
He did. R.I.P.
Shout out.
He won't be. He won't
John
be.
Kincade Show here. Bob Cooney, Pat Egan, Jamie Lynch in the house, along with Connor Thomas and Coach Eric Camille. What's up, Jamie?
Hey,
How you doing?
I love that song. That's an all-timer.
I do love that song. Pat, it does. It makes me think of you.
It's one of the.
You got what I need.
It's an old school rap song that's been kind of beaten to death that I'll never get sick of.
So it hasn't been beaten to death.
Yes, but I think for a lot of people maybe it has.
I'm not a fan.
I don't know. I love the.
Does Pat look like he's stoned up today, do you?
Yeah,
A lot of people
the
are
guy I
talking
smelled
about
in Wawa parking lot this morning.
Maybe I was.
You don't
Maybe
know.
that's my dude.
Give
you
me
guys
some gummy
smell-
bears.
Do you guys smell it like almost every time you drive?
No,
Long distances? I swear to God.
I can't spell though. So
You're an idiot.
you asked.
Good point.
I got these gummies called CBD Lamb, and they're delicious.
That was stupid.
I tried.
CBD lamb.
There's an extra letter.
I tried.
Good try by you. 7 o'clock hour.
I'll swing for the fences next hour.
7 o'clock hour is brought to you by the all-new Bet Parks app. Sportsbook and casino in one sleek, easy-to-use app in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Jamie, you love them.
Mm-hmm. I do love Bet Parks.
Are you out today?
Yeah, the Daily Odds Pod is out. You can download it on all your podcast platforms. We took a look at the league last night, look ahead to tonight's game. The Phillies need to get back home. And, there's lots of stuff in there.
In the worst way. 13-1 loss to the Dodgers last night. Good news. Trey Turner hit you a home run.
Yeah.
Bad news.
Two
It was
hits.
One of only 2 hits the team had last night.
Edmundo.
Yeah, not good. Harper back in the lineup. So they I was going to say tinkled with. Which is weird.
Was R. Kelly there?
Tinkered. That's it. I don't know
Tinkered.
why. Tinkered. Thank you, Pat.
I got your R. Kelly reference.
Thank
Yeah.
You. Thank you.
I
didn't like the
did
dude.
not.
Dude.
They
Faces
lead off
exposed.
Schwarber last night. They go Schwarber 1, Turner 2, Harper 3.
Yeah, so
They
Thompson
dropped
said he likes Schwarber at the top. And I know it's going to pay off, but it is kind of tough to take Bryson Stott out of that right now.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to watch Bryson Stott go from like 310 to like 280 real quick.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't want to reward the kid.
Yeah.
Like Schwarber's a veteran, which should mean that he can go kind of anywhere on command and not have a problem with it, especially if he's a boom or bust power hitter. But I guess not. And I don't know if it's Thompson just bowing down to him. I don't know if this is something Schwarber, has vocalized. Like, no,
I would find that weird.
I would too.
He doesn't seem like that guy.
But maybe it's an analytics thing where they've crunched his entire career and, they're happier with him at the top of the order. I don't know what it is, but it does seem questionable. And I say that knowing that Schwarber is going to heat up and start hitting home runs the closer
June.
The closer we get to June, it's going to happen. Is it better in the short term to have Bryson Stott leading off? Probably.
Or crazy thought here. Crazy.
Trey Turner.
It must be the drugs, Pat.
Let's put the guy that's struggling, your $300+ million guy that you said was going to lead off. Let's crazy thought.
Okay. All right. We're trying to follow your drug-induced
Let's
mind.
put that guy in the leadoff spot. The guy that you said was going to lead off. The guy that's led off most of his career. The guy that's struggling now. Let's put him.
The guy
there.
that's like, one of the fastest in baseball and a
yeah.
great base
Instead
stealer.
of one of the biggest power hitters in the world because he quote is comfortable there. And I made the point, and you guys just laid it out. Like he's the biggest clubhouse guy in the world. He's not going to slam into Rob Thompson's
I don't think so.
office, start banging on the table to hit leadoff. Like it's dumb. I cannot get over the fact that there were 6 players in Major League Baseball history that hit 47 home runs and had less than 100 RBIs. He was one of them last year. Like this isn't even this is basic common sense. Power hitter, have guys on base for him. If he hits a home run, those guys come home, runs win games. Like
All right,
I don't think you need a degree from MIT to figure this one out.
And one of your points that you quickly hit on is about clogging the bases. So Schwarber is one of the guys, and maybe this is Rob Thompson's thinking of having him lead off. He's the guy that looks at pitches. He'll get some walks. All that does is clog things up for, as you said, James, one of the fastest guys in the league, Trey Turner now. You're going to put Schwarber on base ahead of Turner and clog bases? This leadoff thing this year makes absolutely no sense to a lot of us.
Yeah, I don't get it because Trey Turner, most teams in this league would kill to have as their leadoff hitter. Like, kill. I'm sure the Dodgers miss him, and they're still really good. But, yeah, him or Stott. I mean, there's two obvious answers here. I don't know if it's just the old school baseball guy in me that's just like, no, you put the speed at the top of the order. You put your best, contact hitter up there. If they're the same person, then great. It's a no-brainer. Kyle Schwarber is neither of those things. So, I don't know. It's a head-scratcher, but I guess they've earned the benefit of the doubt? Question mark?
I don't know. Connor, where do you go?
I know what you mean.
You got Stott leading off, Turner leading off, or Schwarber leading off?
Either of the first two over Kyle Schwarber. I don't get it.
Yeah, we're all there.
Why? Why? He hasn't really done it. He hasn't done it all year. It's been Turner or Stott. Why is Schwarber now all of a sudden Bryce Harper's back and he's got to hit leadoff because he can only hit leadoff for 3? It makes no sense.
I mean, could you imagine real quick? Could you imagine if Charlie Manuel had hit Ryan Howard leadoff?
Yeah,
I mean, especially towards the end of his career when he legitimately was a 220 hitter, hitting anywhere from 25 to 35 home runs. It doesn't make sense. The guy doesn't really get on base that much.
He's 328 right now.
That warrants a leadoff spot. Like I don't know what the hell we're doing.
On base percentage is 328.
Yeah, he's hitting 200 right.
I wonder what Stotts is. Stotts has to be up around 380.
His batting average might be higher than his on base percentage.
305 Stott was after his 0 for last night. I don't get it. The speed is the biggest thing to me.
His on base is only 336, but he is hitting 305.
Okay. And what would 336 compared to Schwarber's what?
324, I think it was. 328.
It's just I mean the clog in the base.
You can't let on base rule the day.
No, you can't. And I mean it just seems if you're going to take the two biggest variables, to me it's who's your best home run hitter.
Yeah.
Why are you leading them off?
And Bryson Stott's hitting 305.
Yeah, and who's your fastest player? Why are you putting him behind one of your slowest players? Yeah. So, I don't know. All right, Jamie, we got to play catch-up with you. Started the show talking about Joel Embiid gets his MVP last night. We saw the reaction. We're going to hear some sound from him in a little bit. What was yours? I think we were all kind of, we knew it was coming. But any more special feeling at all once it was announced?
I was pretty happy for him. He's kind of been through the ringer of a career. Only started playing, 12 years?
Yeah.
And now he's, deemed the best or most important player in the world. All the injuries. I'm sure he's going through it again right now. You know what I mean? To not be there for his team. We always talk about how much it sucks as a fan. Imagine what he's going through. You start to question a lot, probably. You probably get a little bit depressed.
Yeah.
Year in and year out, that happens to you. So, it's a little pick-me-up for him. I felt pretty happy for him. Because I knew it meant a lot to him.
Yeah, and it seemed like Connor pointed out meant a lot to his teammates also last
cool
night. Their reaction was cool. Harden coming up and giving him a...
Because I'm sure Harden feels like I helped get him here.
Sure. And I think there's a general good relationship there. I don't think Joe has a bad relationship with many teammates throughout the years.
Doesn't seem like
couple here and there, but not a whole bunch of people. But yeah, I thought it was really cool the way his teammates reacted. Now, the second thing I wanted to catch up with you, I want to figure out how to word this. What would you do tonight? What do you think? Let's do this. What do you think's going to happen with Joel Embiid tonight? First question.
I don't think he's playing.
What would you do if they deemed him healthy enough to play?
I'd have to. I would want to sit down, look in his eyes, and be like, "Are you?"
Got to look in his eyes.
Kinda, and be like, "Where are you at? Are you going to be able to play this without?" Kind of dragging ass out there.
Right.
Because when he plays like that and he wears his injury on his sleeve, the team feeds off of it. So, you probably don't win game one if he's out there kind of moping around, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I know what you mean, yeah.
So I would want to have that heart-to-heart with him, tell me where you're at mentally. Do you want to give it one more game? Forget the alpha, got to play through it attitude. Where are you at? Can you go out there effectively and have the right body language and emotion that your teammates need?
So one of the coolest things that Embiid said last night was about his teammates after he was named MVP.
First of all, I thank all of them because I couldn't have done it without them. Obviously, we've been winning a lot, and, the work that they put in to put me in, and trust me, and putting me in positions to succeed, been, amazing, and they've given up a lot for me. So, I'm just thankful for these guys. They're all behind me, and I know how much I'm thankful. I'm thankful for them, but, I was going to tell them that, we're going to celebrate for 5 minutes, and then, we're going back, back to business. We got a series to win. I'm just so proud of them, obviously winning. Yesterday, that was a big one, and, we got a few more coming. And I'm just so proud of them to be able to make sure to give me some time to, really allow me to heal and, get back to myself and, and I'll be back. And, we got more work to do.
I thought that was terrific. I love that we're going to celebrate for 5 minutes. It wasn't a me take, which we've heard a lot. It was teammates. Couldn't do it without them. Everything he said there was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment for him and the team. There's not a lot of MVPs we see in our lifetime, so they're always special when it happens.
Connor missed. Apparently, he missed Jimmy and Ryan.
Oh,
yeah, he forgot about them.
That was a good 2 years for them.
He said he's missed.
I blacked out. My teenage years, I was a bad kid.
Yeah.
He started the show. He's like, I've only seen 2. I've seen AI, and I'm not counting that because I was like, what, 6? You said?
I guess he didn't read the email last night.
No. My brain was only fully formed to 25, so that's only what I count.
Okay.
There's blank spots in there.
No, but it's true. It's something that I brought up to start the show. It's amazing how we've only seen this once before. And I don't know how you felt, but I thought I'd be more excited about the official announcement, and it's just not there for me.
I think I quote tweeted nice.
Yeah, something like that. I was in the car listening to it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's about time, right?
Yeah,
it's his turn.
I don't know.
All of those things.
And part of it was something that Connor brought up. It wasn't this come out of nowhere season, kind of like 2001. There was so much drama surrounded by the 2001 AI saga of getting traded to Detroit and then Matt Geiger saying no and all right, we got to make it work, that it was a surprise. Joel Embiid finally getting his just due. It feels good because you know that he's been the best player in the league for arguably the last 3 seasons, if not the last 2. But I thought what he said was, and giving credit to his teammates, was really a testament to him because we know how badly he's wanted to win this.
Yeah.
And he still had the wherewithal to thank those around him. But it also must be like a monkey off the back situation because when we had George Niang in here, he talked about how Joel kind of walked around like they're never gonna give me this damn award.
And the fact that a teammate's just saying that tells you all you really need to know.
Exactly.
Yeah. 610-632-0975. You have any thoughts on tonight's game? What about Embiid? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think should happen? We have all of that coming up for you. And we have a Pat's point of view where Pat's a little bit ticked off about something from last night.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
All right, I'm not necessarily ticked off. I kind of just chuckled.
Pat's not ticked off.
Yeah, so
I apologize.
Fix it. You don't know me. You don't know my feelings.
I don't know who you are in this drug-induced state that you're in.
He's so stoned right now. He can't be angry.
I don't think he knows who I am. But go ahead.
All right. Let me take a hit real quick, and then
there you go.
Hit the bong. So last night, we just talked about Embiid wins MVP. Did you guys see what the Denver Nuggets tweeted out?
I didn't see this.
It's so lame.
So they tweeted out our MVP. They had a cute little video montage of all of Nikola Jokic's amazing plays, we'll call them. Amazingly, none of them were on defense, but that's okay. And initially I got, oh, that's cute. And then Devon reminded me, yeah, the Sixers did the same thing last year.
Did they?
So I went, okay.
Well, then I would have called that lame if I had noticed it.
Can't really fault him. But it's more of a message to Nuggets fans because there's nothing that gets me more excited than a 10, 12, 11 triple-double. I mean, nothing. Look, I was in a cold at 1.2, okay? I was in the Ben Simmons cold. And I really sat there and like banged the drum for triple-doubles and saying that this guy is so good and blah, blah, blah. But I got out of that cult.
You did.
So,
safely.
So just know if you're out there and you're sitting here going, our MVP, and it's adorable and stuff, he's not, though.
Well, they're not wrong.
I don't think there's one GM that would take Nikolai Jokic even the last 2 years over Joel Embiid.
He's their MVP. He's the Denver Nuggets MVP. That's okay. He can be MVP of that team.
Okay.
He's just not MVP
You make a
of the
good
league.
point. You make a good point.
Yeah, that's such a little troll, stupid, weird thing. You know, like a real. I don't want to say a real NBA team.
A real boy.
No, because I mean that's the Sixers did it last year, and that's fine. They want to promote their guy, but it just cracks me up because they would focus so much on the triple double aspect of it, and anytime he actually went up against, it seemed like stiff competition. He would get cooked because defensively he's just not.
It's all the more reason why we want the Sixers in the finals, so hopefully they can go up against the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, I think we were all disappointed during the year when they head to Denver, the Sixers, and they sat Embiid.
Yeah.
Because we wanted Embiid to really put an exclamation point on the MVP voting, and he could have done it. We all expected him to. He put up 40-something the first time the two played. He's pretty much cooked them every time. But
every time.
Yeah, but it just, look, I was there in a cold at one point too, and I want to acknowledge it.
Well, I don't know if you were fully cult. I think you were testing the waters. I don't know if I can call you a cult follower of Ben Simmons. I think you were a fan.
When they told me to put on Nikes, put a purple shroud on me, and cut something off, that's when I was out.
What did they cut off? Did it hurt?
Are you not familiar with Heaven's Gate?
I was kidding.
Are you not familiar with what happened? So the ultimate test. Are you familiar with what happened with Heaven's Gate? Some people don't know
weird.
about this.
I think I need a refresher. No, I don't think I do.
So this is incredible. So Heaven's Gate was the cult, I believe, in Texas back in like the 90s. Their whole premise was, all right, the Hale-Bopp comet's coming, so we're gonna hop on that because the world's ending.
Hop on the comet.
So we're gonna hop on the comet.
Wouldn't that kill you,
Bob?
Oh, sorry. That's sensible thinking. My fault.
Yeah. You're not thinking logically here. We're gonna hop on the comet and we'll be saved. Well, guys, how do you hop on a comet? Of course.
Did they have a game plan?
Yes, of course they did.
Okay, good.
So it was a two-step process. Okay, first of all, get Nikes. Because the
jump man.
Yeah, it's like
Got to be the shoes.
It's like the new PF Flyers.
Yeah.
It makes you run faster, jump higher.
Well, Mars Black was with Blackman. Mars Blackman was on different planets. So that checks.
Good point.
And so get Nikes. The second thing is you have to be more aerodynamic.
Obviously.
Up.
Obviously.
Right?
So they cut something off?
So they cut the tail off. Guys cut. So they found.
Ouch.
Yeah. And that's where I was like,
I'd rather the world
all right,
end.
if I'm kind of buying into this cult thing, but then they're like, hey, you got to cut it off. I'm probably like, you know what?
I'll
out. Take my chances with the comet hitting Earth.
That's an interesting two-step process to get on a comet.
And then the third one was you have to drink Kool-Aid and then
die.
Yeah.
How many people died?
It was like 70.
I don't remember this a little bit.
I'm surprised you guys. So I would always joke about this. Always, I didn't always joke about it, but every once in a while, I would, like today, it would pop up.
Right.
And I remember bringing it up.
Not anymore,
I thought it was like well known, and then most of my hockey team thought I was lying about it. I'm like, no, look it up.
Jamie and I were looking at each other while you were starting your story.
That's kind of why I wanted to explain it.
Not thinking you're lying. Just
that's why I wanted to explain it because I felt looking at your eyes, I could tell. I
don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it was the Heaven's Gate cult. All about Hale-Bopp comet and hopping on, and so they were all gonna do a mass Kool-Aid thing as the comet passed by because they were gonna hop on.
So Michael says you were in Ben's Gate.
I was in Ben's Gate, exactly.
Okay,
and I've gotten out of it.
Good,
and
good move by you.
I would hope so.
I feel better. I am wearing Nikes though right now. So
well, you know what else you need? Forever Young Anti-Aging Clinic in Center City. Pat, can't shed the weight. Well, they have FDA approved for weight loss, and Forever Young patients are getting tremendous results. I'm just kidding. That was just a healthy breakfast.
Why are you pointing it out for me?
I'm sorry.
I mean, Jamie's over here a little big boned.
No, I didn't. You see, Pat had a huge breakfast yesterday, and I marveled at it, Jamie.
I had some delicious.
Oh, that's right. You were there. I mean, didn't he have a big plate?
He had 2 helpings of cream chip beef.
He might have had 3.
2 and an omelet.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. You're a healthy eater, Pat. I'm like a proud parent over here.
Coach,
I don't know why you think I was
a little chunky in
Stop
there.
trying to deflect and make everybody feel bad about themselves, Patrick.
Yeah, why
Let's
are
all
you
just
doing
get
that,
along.
Pat? I was just saying you have a good appetite. That had nothing to do with your girth. Or like,
I think we need a break. I think we need a break. I don't know how we segue off of that.
610-632-0975. This is the John
The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show here, 97.5 The Fanatic. We're about 13 hours away. Jamie, you as pumped for this Sixers-Celtics Game 2 as you were for Game 1?
Probably a little more because I was nervous.
That's what I like to hear.
I was nervous, excited about that. And when you steal that Game 1, changes everything. So, I saw Harden's quote was awesome. He's like, we're here for Game 2 as well. Meaning like we're not here to just we're not happy with the split. We want both.
We're not having a New York Knicks type celebrate, not the Knicks, but their fan base.
Yeah, well,
winning one game and
celebrating in the streets.
That's it. Let's go. Let's party championship.
Yeah, I mean he's been through it in the playoffs. He knows what it takes. He's had some tough experiences. Been up against some great dynasties in his career, and he knows what's up. So it's good to hear that kind of focus coming from until Embiid's back, your new leader.
Yeah. It's amazing how injury has plagued this whole NBA playoff.
It's wild.
Right about now.
And now Chris Paul's going to miss the whole series, it sounds like.
Yeah, Julius Randle misses Game 1 with a bad ankle, an ankle that he sprained twice over the last month. Returns last night, gets 25. Knicks tie up that series at 1-1.
How about Josh Hart?
Almost a triple-double.
Just like big plays.
He just the way the Villanova alum carry themselves on a basketball court,
yeah,
it's terrific. They're smart, they're good, they're clutch, and they're not afraid of the big moment at all. Josh Hart sticking. Who did the Knicks beat in the first series? Why am I drawing a blank? Oh, Dennis Mitchell.
The Cavs.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell.
Or Donovan Mitchell. I mean, Dennis Mitchell's a former sprinter. Donovan Mitchell, the way he stuck him in that first series, it was like, yeah, bring it on. I want it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You said it before, Jamie, when DiVincenzo and those guys, and even Jalen Brunson. I remember you saying to me, I don't know why the Sixers don't grab these guys later in the first round if they're still there.
Yeah, they play in your building. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Sadiq Bey, he looked good for Atlanta.
I love Sadiq Bey.
Yeah,
I mean, he was like a 10th. What he was what 15th?
Yeah, he was like teens.
Middle, yeah.
Teens, yeah.
Yeah, middle there somewhere. Jalen Brunson. Did Jalen Brunson go in the first
last pick?
First pick in the second round.
Yeah,
I didn't know if he was last, first, second.
I don't even know if he was the first pick in the second.
I thought he was.
He was in the top 5 of the second round.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a free player.
Yeah, I mean, left-handed, crafty point guards. I'll take on my basketball team every day of the week, and luckily
he was 33rd overall.
Okay. Yeah, so luckily the Sixers have him. But Jay Wright's got to be smiling ear to ear every time he turns on the TV and he sees another one of his players in the playoffs because they just seem to perform.
Yeah, and Eric Spoelstra always seems to perform too. No Jimmy Butler last night, and they make it a game.
They made it a game, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I heard a stat like 79 of their points last night, something crazy like that, of the Heat's points were by undrafted players.
Wow.
Imagine that. You're in the second round of the playoffs.
Gabe Vincent's and Matt Struces of the world. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, crazy stuff. All right, Jamie, I threw out a question earlier. I don't know if you heard it. If you did, you probably thought it out. If you didn't, I want your quick reaction and a good answer to this. Who should ring the bell for the Sixers on Friday night?
I have 2 answers. One is realistic, one is not. Which would you like first?
Not.
This got texted to me by Ace, the Ace man. And it won't happen because they never repaired their relationship. But if you brought the Boston Strangler out to ring the bell, that'd be pretty cool.
So my twin cousin, Kevin Cooney, DM'd me during the break and said exactly that. It's got to be Andrew Toney.
Yeah, and I missed Andrew Toney, but
there's a lot of people out there that don't know the story.
But I always had my dad talk about him. Andrew Toney was loved here by your generation and older people. It would be pretty cool to have the nickname the Boston Strangler. And you welcome them back to the franchise and say, please welcome back to the Sixers family, the Boston Strangler. That'd be pretty cool. You don't have to know the whole story to appreciate that.
I'm unfamiliar with what happened. Why
apparently Harold Katz didn't believe his foot injury was substantial and basically made him push on, right? And he blames his lost career on kind of that.
Andrew Toney would have been a Hall of Famer. That's how good he was. He may have been the best scorer on a team that included Moses Malone, Julius Erving, Maurice Cheeks, Bobby Jones. he was just phenomenal. He had this first step where he would plant his left foot, and he could go so far on that first step. His first step was deadly, so guys had to back off of him, and he was just an unbelievable shooter and a tough 6'4", your typical two-guard at the time. He almost killed Boston.
Wasn't he like from nowhere to like Southwest Louisiana State or something like that?
It was because it was cool. It was a backcourt of cheeks that went to something like that, Southwest Texas State or something. Yeah.
And then my realistic one, which I think would blow the roof off the place, Jalen Hurts.
That's not bad. I went a different.
Just signed his contract. He's here basically for his career now. That'd be pretty awesome.
Actually, that's pretty awesome. I went a little under that.
By the way, Andrew Toney went to Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana.
Just Louisiana.
Southwest Texas State was Maurice Cheeks. It just popped into my head. I said Howie Roseman.
Yeah, I heard that. It wouldn't be the worst, but I agree.
That shows it's not good if you say it wouldn't be the worst.
No, I think there's worse.
It's like, how do you say no without saying no? It wouldn't be the worst.
I don't know.
All right, Jamie, you can disagree with me, you jerk.
It'd be okay. There's worse.
Yeah, Andrew Toney would be phenomenal. I just worry that it's generational. Like Pat's 34 years old. He doesn't even know much about Andrew Toney.
But you hear the name Boston Strangler versus Boston.
Cool. Like I know that he is the Boston Strangler. So while I don't know much about his career and how it ended and all the bad blood and stuff, I mean, just the nickname alone
is pretty cool.
Warrants. Yeah, I mean, it backs up your point. And then for your generation, I think it means even more than obviously for me.
Yeah.
But a guy like me who didn't watch him play and isn't all that familiar with him, I would go, oh, that's pretty cool.
All right, Zach in Phoenixville. He's got a game 3. I think we're getting a little ahead of the horse here, but he's got a game 3 bell ringer. Zach, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, just a little bit of my own thought about who could ring the bell. Is it too soon to say DeAndre Swift?
He'd probably have to be part of a group because he's not known enough here, but he's from here.
It's a round
DeAndre
one.
Swift and Boston Scott, the Giants killer.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Thanks,
I'm not
Zach.
having any guy
Appreciate
named
it.
Boston ring the bell.
No, I don't think you want to do that
So,
either, unless you're
It's not Boston Scott do it.
Yeah, but it could be an Eagle. Speaking of the Eagles, in the linchpin, Jamie's got a little something about a former coach here.
This is the linchpin.
Jonathan Gannon's a rat. He's a rat fink. Screw him. He's officially marked as an enemy of the state. Zach Berman yesterday, basically said that this case was handled at the ownership level. Now, there's two ways to view this. That it happens all the time, and DeMeco Ryans was hired by the Houston Texans in similar fashion. Well, guess what? The 49ers weren't playing in the Super Bowl in the home city of a team that was recruiting you. So you could go, all right, it happens all the time. Kudos to the Eagles for getting a pick swap out of it. Like they called it out and went and got some picks that wasn't theirs. Or there's the rat fink enemy of the state way to look at it, where you have the Jonathan Gannon's own players saying, yeah, he didn't really put us in a position to win. We didn't adjust when we needed to adjust. And you can view it as that guy was hosting dinners with the Cardinals brass and the Bidwells and thinking about his big paychecks and moving his family across the country and took the job basically the night of the Super Bowl. And you could say he was distracted. He didn't put 100% in. Now, Nick Sirianni came out and said, I know what he put in and the work and effort he put towards the game and all that.
Right.
Nah, your head was in the clouds, man.
Marcus Hayes had a story this past weekend about it all and basically did come out and say, what the hell? Why are you doing this like in the most important time during,
If you're the front runner, you say, hey, Mr. Bidwell, thank you so much.
Gonna wait till Monday.
Can I talk to you on Monday? We're not curing cancer here. We're talking about coaching a football team. It can wait 5 days. You like me? Cool. I want to be here. I'll talk to you next week. Let me go win a freaking Super Bowl first. Why is this so difficult?
I don't know. It's crazy.
Fix the process.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It's the same thing with college coaches. I can't stand them leaving before they play in their bowl games, talking to other schools. I can't stand that. Yeah, this shouldn't happen.
Have it it would actually be kind of cool, like a head coaching free agency date. Like the players have their date. Why not subject the coaches to the same thing? I know you want to get ready for your draft and get your new system in place. And blah. Can we stop making it out to be like these guys are splitting the freaking atom?
I agree.
Jamie,
It's not that important. You can wait so everybody's on the same page.
I'm with Jamie.
You're
It's stupid, Pat.
Dumb.
You're ridiculous.
Wow.
The whole we need the
So you
team-
love
the
Jonathan
team-
Gannon?
We need the team in place. You do, Jamie, because the Super Bowl ends in February. The draft is until late April.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be done.
It's ridiculous.
You got to get your board in order.
It's ridiculous.
You got to figure out who's going to Indianapolis.
You're making my
Who's
point.
coming to the steakhouse?
Yeah.
Who's going to Elmo's? We don't know. Yeah, it's dumb. Now, I didn't get as upset about the Gannon story.
It's
as a lot of people.
growing.
Like,
The hate is growing. It's snowballing with me.
I liked how you laid it out of there's two sides. There's the enemy of the state, and there's the people that go the pick swap. I went more of, this is cool. We got a pick swap out of
And
something
that's
that happens
possible.
every day.
but I don't choose to believe that one.
My big problem with the story that Marcus Hayes had was that they have a morose post Super Bowl get together, and Gannon's out there like peacocking around, like, "Hey, what's going on, everybody? Anybody know where the closest Chipotle is?" Like that pissed me off. I don't think for one second that he didn't necessarily prepare for the Super Bowl.
No, I think he
It's
prepared.
a bad look that the fact that like a lot of people blame him for the loss.
But
because
it's
the team
natural
blew.
human reaction to be thinking about your
Yeah.
new paychecks and moving your family and all of that
100%.
that consumes your mind that week could have waited till
But
Monday.
I also think that this is very similar to like when fans look at an athlete on Instagram doing anything but practicing and being like, get in the gym. You know, there's only so many hours a day you're gonna comb over tape and prepare for the Super Bowl until you go, all right, I got it. And I don't think Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon were spending 24 hours a day. Now, I think they were spending a lot of time.
Yeah.
My point is, there is an hour to think about, all right, let me hop on Redfin and see what houses are around.
Yeah.
And I realize I'm in the minority with this. Like, I realize a lot of people are like,
So you're
Jamie.
going kudos to the Eagles for calling it out.
Yeah. Because I mean, you
Bob?
moved up 20 plus spots to.
No, it's a great
third
move
round.
if that's the case. I just choose Rat Fink.
I thought it interesting, and we talked to Berman about this last week, and I'm going to ask Shefty. I want to ask Shefty about it today also. I said to Zach, how's the league going to take this that the Eagles did it? Because, as you said, Jamie, I think it happens an awful lot.
Oh, it's the norm. And
It's
the
the
Eagles
norm.
might have exploited something that a lot of teams might hop on now.
Exactly. And, all right, you're the first to do it. Cool. But do you also have 30 other teams that are looking at you side-eyed saying,
Well,
damn, you rat. Are you serious?
no, I don't think so. I think you have 30 other teams that are going to go,
Damn, they exploited this.
oh, we can move up 20 plus spots in the third round. It reminds me a lot of when Bobby Clark offer sheeted Ryan Kessler, and it was like the no in hockey. Like you never offer sheet anybody, and it was the agreement amongst GMs. And Bobby Clark was like, "That's dumb. He's a good player. I want him. I'm offer sheeting him." And now you see offer sheets a fair bit.
Yeah.
Because teams went, yeah, no, that is dumb. And I think you're going to see a situation of NFL teams go, oh, yeah, this is ridiculous. We're losing a guy who, as Jamie pointed out, might not have been all in. It cost us. Why wouldn't we move up 20-plus spots?
If the players didn't have something to say, and it was C.J. Gardner-Johnson who's no
Yeah.
longer here, maybe
Yep.
it was sour grapes in fairness for the full story. But I found that a little interesting and kind of adds to this.
Well, I also heard that Gannon didn't speak publicly about the draft picks, that the organization, I don't want to say didn't allow him. Now, this is just what I heard, that he didn't speak because they're kind of scared of him getting behind a microphone because twice now he's gotten behind a mic and kind of screwed himself. So, I don't know.
And it's very interesting. It was handled between Bidwell and Laurie, too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that tells you it's serious.
Oh, I tell you, it's totally real.
Because it took the Arizona GM fessing up and saying, yeah, no, I was in contact with him that week. Like, that doesn't happen very often either. So there is clearly evidence.
See, another reason how we should ring the bell. That's all I'm saying.
That's one way to look at it, sure.
Jalen Hurts would be cooler, but that's okay. You
No,
die on that
Jalen
hill.
Hurts would be cooler. Yeah. So, yeah, Gannon, somebody just said on here, you lost a defensive coordinator who nobody in the city, a lot of people in the city didn't like, and you gained a pick out
I
of
didn't
it.
mind him.
So, well, there's a guy that sits in his chair that absolutely loves him.
I mean,
I liked him.
He had good results. They
had the
almost
best-
put up a sack record. Like,
Yeah, he had the best defense. I've ever
develop
seen.
some players here. Like,
In my lifetime, and I grew up with Jim Johnson and the sack guru, and he had more sacks than any Jim Johnson defense.
He sure did.
Look, the guy just faults, and but I think what hurts the most is the last taste in everybody's mouth is
Rat Fink
is letting walk-in touchdowns.
Yeah,
on the same play.
Yeah,
it's inexcusable.
Inexcusable.
You can't be this defensive guru.
He was getting Zillow alerts in his pocket on the sidelines,
and that might have been it. Like that, legitimately might have been like, oh, house going up on the market.
His wife's texting him like, "Oh, babe, the house just got listed. I need you to clear out your weird room in the basement."
Yeah, like let's look at how much.
Now
we
you're
put
taking
down
it just
on
a little
house.
too far.
Well,
he might have a weird room.
Yeah,
in the
you got to
basement.
make room for the swing.
Did you ever see what's that Confidential movie with the bike? George Clooney, Brad Pitt.
Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got
I'm the movie
bicycle
guy now.
equipment. yeah, the new cinephile.
It's something about that seat. Yeah, I don't know movies. Yeah, I mean, you don't.
Connor, Rat Fink,
You don't-
or
you
good
don't-
move by
you
the
don't-
Eagles?
Rat Fink.
All right, welcome to the club.
Bob, when you were
Yeah.
looking at houses, you didn't think about where we're putting the swing?
No.
Maybe your milking table?
We usually just put it right in the kitchen.
Like in Dave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm glad you got that right. I knew I could say it, and I was like, "There's one person here who's going to get the milking table reference."
Bob, ew. That's a bad mental image.
I apologize. Staples Stores.
Like a
Staples
king
Stores
shame, Bob.
provide innovative products and services for small businesses, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. Connor, last night the Phillies got blitzed again.
Yeah, they stink. They don't stink.
well, no,
but
they don't
they don't. I know.
They don't. They've stunk the last two games when they've got outscored 26-5, I believe. So that's not good. I don't know. Is it worth doing a minute and a half on them today or no?
The issue is just they're not. The pitching isn't getting done for the Philadelphia Phillies. But it's Strom and it's Falter. It's these guys that you're looking at that aren't really Walker, that aren't really supposed to be a big part of the rotation. That's what I keep coming back to. Like, it's a couple bad games in a row, right? It's a couple opportunities on the West Coast to keep momentum going after the Houston series, and now you're sub 500 again, which I think John had said, or someone said, they're not going to ever be below 500 again this year. It might have been a caller. You have too many pitchers in the rotation right now until Suarez comes back and gets healthy that you can't count on start to start. They can give you a good one every once in a while, but then the next time out, you're going to lose 13-1.
I think you just described most teams in baseball, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you get to the 4s and the 5s, and it's
right.
a big question mark. And I mean, last night you're going up against the Dodgers' best pitcher.
Yeah, and here's the issue: the Phillies can't be most teams in baseball. They have too much money invested, and they have too much ready for the season to be most teams in baseball.
But they don't have.
Got a point.
They don't. He doesn't though.
I do, though.
But he does. He has a point. I just don't know if it's a good one. They don't have that much invested in the back end, though. They Matt Strom was a 1-year deal that was looked at as he's going to be a relief pitcher. He's in there just because Suarez is out. Suarez is cheap, and Bailey Falter's cheap. So the guys that we're discussing that are that question mark when they go out there, you're not really expecting much out of them. The guys that I'm more upset about are Taijuan Walker, who got a big contract and has looked hit more. And I don't mean like he was good, but like he's getting hit.
He hasn't looked great.
Yeah, he's looked hit or miss, but it's a lot of hit. And then Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. And yeah, I realize that their last two starts, they look great. And that's good, positive, right? But it's the starts before that where it's like, let's keep this momentum going. But to Connor's point, they haven't. The pitching as a whole hasn't looked good. But it's more of the guys that are the high-paid guys that I think have struggled the most. It's surprising me.
I'd love to see a good outing out of Nola today, simply because this is what an ace. Now, I don't care if he's 1 or 2. This is where an ace comes into play. You've lost 2 games horribly. You've given up 26 runs in 2 games. Connor, you need an outing out of him today. You need that 7 innings pitch, 2 earned runs, whatever. You need to allow this heavy-hitting team get this win today before they come home.
Yeah. Aaron Nola, though, historically, he's not a stopper.
I know.
He's not
I know.
a
That's
guy
why I said it.
Yeah, so he could use it personally, too. But really good last start. Maybe that's momentum. And Houston is as good as this Los Angeles team. So
I think Houston's better than this Los Angeles team.
they had you could make an argument that they are when they have Alvarez, because you remember Alvarez didn't play in that Nola start. They don't have Altuve right now. But yeah, they're comparable teams talent-wise, so maybe Nola goes out and dazzles again. We'll see. I'm not super worried about this Phillies team overall. But, a couple really rough games that show you the starting pitching is the main problem with this team right now.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So what a great day we got today. We got the Phillies-Dodgers at 4 o'clock. Watch that for a couple hours and get yourself ready, get a meal, whatever you have to do. You listen to me and Devon doing the pregame show here on 97.5 The Fanatic from 6 to 8. And then you got Sixers-Celtics game 2. Big story, Joel Embiid, play or won't play, should he not. Joe in the cell wants to talk a little bit about NBA injuries. What's going on, Joe? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, good morning. How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. So I know you guys touched on a little bit ago all the injuries in this year's playoffs. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit between, Joel, of course, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, everything that's going on. I just feel like back in the day, like 20, 30 years ago, you would have never seen like Shaq, Barkley, any of them miss games over sprains and things like that. Like if you, tear an ACL or tear an Achilles, break a bone, anything like that, completely understood. But I just feel like at this point in the year, some of these players I feel like really should kind of toughen some of these things out, take a cortisone shot if you have to, and tough that. Wondering what you guys think.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's a question I'll ask you. Why do you think those guys did play? You think they just toughed it out? Or is injury more prevalent now?
So I honestly do think they toughed it out more often than they do now.
Yeah, and the cortisone shot thing, thanks, Joe. I appreciate the call. I don't know. I'm not doing that with Joel Embiid. Ricky Vitalco and I were talking about this. You cortisone that thing up, and he says, oh, yeah, it feels good. And he goes out there, and that thing's tearing more and more, and he doesn't even feel it.
There was a documentary one time about high school football in Texas called Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues, I heard of
the
it.
Running back.
I don't want your life. That
Exactly.
one?
Yes.
Yeah, I know
Bud
it.
Kilroy, that scumbag. And the running back
Booby.
for that team, no, you're thinking of Friday Night Lights. The running
Yeah.
back for that team who ended up going to Grambling. He injured his knee, Bobby. Injured his knee in a big game. Bud Kilroy said shoot it up with cortisone. And the starting quarterback of that team, Jonathan Moxon, said, no, we ain't doing that. He's not injuring and ruining his career because you're right. You shoot it up with cortisone, you feel great.
Yeah.
Everything's good. And then all of a sudden you don't realize that it's masking pain and you end up re-injuring it and injuring it way worse. I don't want that to happen. I don't think for a second they toughened it out.
That's why you go HGH.
We're talking about a 4 to 6 week injury here, probably.
Get him to Germany.
Yeah.
Blood cycles.
Blood cycle. That's
Let's
what all
go.
the cyclists do.
Let's do a real-world example, though. Didn't we just have a whole conversation about how Andrew Toney doesn't want to be related to the Sixers anymore because he was forced to push through something that ended his career?
That's a good tie-in there.
Really?
Con.
It's Connor.
Wow.
Like, what are we doing here?
That's the smartness
I'll
of
tell you what I don't know what we're doing in here. What you're doing is bringing up great points.
And Joe brings up a great point about back in the day. So we talked about the Sixers MVPs from before. And I said to you guys, like Moses Malone, that was the most dominant season that I'd ever seen. All he did that year was he played 78 games, 38 minutes a game, went for 25 points, 15 rebounds. But listen to the games played by Moses Malone in the NBA over the years. 82, 80, 82, 82, 80, 81, 78, 71, 79, 74, 73, 79, 81, 81, 82, 82. Joe makes a good point. Like, did guys back then just tough it out? It's not like Moses Malone was going up against nobodies. I mean, that's pretty incredible right there. And I'll bet you if we look up, I don't know, pick up another Sixers MVP, Dr. J, Allen Iverson. They didn't miss games.
I think...
and I'm not just talking about Joel Embiid. Joe made a great point. It's happening all over the league. And
but was Moses Malone playing 5 days a week in the offseason? Was Moses Malone...
Well, then don't do it, maybe.
Well, that's kind of my point is there's so much hyper-focus on year-long conditioning and training and playing that guys are bigger, stronger, and putting more wear and tear on their bodies, I think, than ever. Yeah, it was a more physical game back then, but I don't know if Moses Malone, and I'm just guessing here, probably took like a month off in the offseason where he was just laying on a beach.
I think he ended the season and stayed on that beach until the beginning of the next season.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like James Harden was working out 5 days a week, 3 times a day during the offseason to get back to a level of health. I think these guys are just stressing their bodies more than ever year
to be
long,
able to compete.
To be able to compete, and maybe it's having the adverse effect where they're more prone to injury.
There's also the fact of Moses Malone, and I think we look at like all players from the era as well. If you played center, it's the same. Moses Malone is listed at 6'10", 215. Joel
Yeah.
Embiid is listed at 7'2", 280.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different body type.
It is.
It was something you talked about yesterday. Joel Embiid grew after getting drafted. He went from 6'10" to 7'2". He's still getting used to. I mean, I won't say he's getting used to it now. That's a lot of weight on bones and ankles and joints and ACLs and all that to deal with. So comparing the athletes of 40 years ago to today, it's a different breed.
Yeah.
And I do think Joel gets. You can look at the Siakam injury last year, and look, the Nets and Jacques Vaughn basically said they were going to go into a cage match with the Sixers. They kind of ran at him. You know, I'm not saying they took his knee out, but
no, they were knocking him over.
They made it a point to hit him in the back, to hit him a little low. They were physical,
Sure.
and I think when the Moses Malones and Shaqs of the world were playing, you know, that amount of games, you didn't do that because you feared getting smacked upside the head and getting your ass beat. In today's NBA, like PJ Tucker's here as the physical enforcer type. You can make run like Royce O'Neal should have been knocked out in that series. There was at least 3 times where he hit Joel in the lower back when his back was, you know, away from the play, and somebody should have slugged him. And that used to happen, and maybe that fear of that happening, you know, helped guys stay a little safer.
He said somebody should have slugged them.
Bring it back.
Jamie sounded like a middle-aged father there.
condoning
Somebody
violence.
should have slugged them.
I mean, if your star's getting hit over and over and over again,
I totally agree with you.
you got to defend them at some point.
Get somebody
Jamie
off the
was
bench to
getting
come
hit.
in here.
Me and you were throwing elbows at somebody.
But I think there's something to that.
Yeah,
there is.
No, I
Absolutely.
totally agree. There is. You can't feel comfortable enough to do that to some team.
No.
Yeah.
And that's when you send in I don't know, who's on the bench that's tough. Montrezl Harrell. Come on down.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Go Rudy Tomjanovich somebody.
Yep. Wow.
That's a little far.
Kermit Washington now.
That's a little far.
This is the John Kincade Show. We will talk more Sixers,
Calm down.
Celtics coming up, Game 2 tonight. We have a Pat's Takes coming up, which is always fun. So we'll get into that. This is the John
Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station. Official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Little Green Day, can't go wrong, James. Dookie.
I very vividly remember buying this album and thinking it was the funniest thing in the world, but like also being obsessed with it.
Their original name was Sweet Child.
Green Day's was?
Yeah.
Green Day's
I
better.
didn't know that. Yeah, Green Day is better.
It is.
What's
better.
a better album, that or American Idiot? Dookie or American?
Dookie's better.
American
Yeah?
Idiot.
What?
I kind of lean towards
Sorry.
American Idiot.
Well, they made that into a Broadway play. Didn't
You
they?
guys are two American idiots. It's Dookie.
Yeah, it's Dookie.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Basket case.
I don't know why you asked my opinion and then you ridicule my opinion.
Well,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have had a dumb opinion.
Well, that's like your opinion, man. Well, that's a good point.
That's your opinion. It's
And
some
that was
opinion.
like formative music years too, like when the Walkman like was.
Well, I guess that's part of it for me. Is American Idiot. I was
Yeah, so
13
Dookie
or
was
14?
probably my age.
so you're exactly. Yeah.
So much of it is time and place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that I forget the name of the song, but I hope you had the time of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that song is.
Yeah,
that's
pretty good.
People are probably screaming in their car right now, like, "What an idiot! He doesn't know what." But
Stupid.
that song is like one of the most beautiful songs from a band that you would not expect to make that song.
The video was cool, too.
It is, yeah. It was written about his girlfriend moving to South America.
Oh, is that what it
Like
was?
them having to break up basically because she was moving away, and then the label didn't want it on the record, and they kind of fought for it.
It's
Wow.
good riddance, by the way.
Oh, good riddance, yeah.
Very
Great song.
good. You see, you don't get this every day on Sports Talk Radio,
Well,
so we
you
want
know,
to enlighten the people.
We had another turning point. There was
Yeah.
a fork stuck in the road, and we went down the music road.
Yes, we
Because
did.
everybody tells us that we're going to switch to music anyway.
And
I'm going to tell you to turn it around and bring it back to sports. How about that?
Well, Dookie reminds me of The Wall. You remember The Wall?
Yeah.
And I used to steal the stickers off of CDs in there and then put them on old ones and then bring them back and return them.
That's genius.
That is pretty good.
What a bad boy over here.
Hey,
boy.
this Friday, we're doing the first Friday show. Listen, YouTubers, anybody out there listening, if you want to be part of our live studio audience, we'd love to see you. Go to 97.5thefanatic.com and secure yourself a spot with a guest. Jamie Deeks Barbecue is bringing breakfast.
I love
So I
Deeks.
want you to come over, too. Keith Pompey, Mark Zumoff, actor, comedian Harlan Williams. We have a lot of other people scheduled
Harlan
to
Williams?
appear.
Buttercup?
Yeah, Buttercup's
Butterstuff?
going to be. Butterstuff's going to be here.
So I ended up, I was the guy who booked Harlan Williams.
Ah, jeez.
No,
Congratulations
this wasn't
on your
a brag.
success, Pat.
This wasn't a brag. It was I texted Meredith from Helium and said, "Hey, do you have anybody that's coming into town?" She went, "Harlan Williams." And I went, "Wait, the 7-minute abs guy?"
Yeah.
And she went, I guess. And I said,
I can't even get a sweat going at 6.
Because that's what I always associate him to. It's like, well, yeah, you just got to worry about someone coming along with 6. No, it's 7. 7's no.
He's a good comedy
Yeah, he's
actor.
a very good comedian.
That was
That's all
pretty
I got.
good. Yeah, no, that was pretty good. It sounded like you were imitating somebody a little bit, but I don't
Yeah,
think
I was
you
imitating
were.
Harlan Williams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
All right, so
Just move on.
Sixers Celtics tonight.
Wait,
it's huge.
You
Game
didn't-
2.
You didn't
What?
tell people where they could go to sign up.
I did. I read the whole thing.
don't think you did.
97.5thefanatic.com. Coach, will you please tell Pat that I did an excellent job of reading that?
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
You want me to do it again? I'll do it all over again.
Yeah,
you
run
know?
it straight
Come on,
back.
listeners. We need you out here with us on Friday.
If you're on the YouTube
part of the live
crowd,
studio audience.
we implore you to bring your laptop and then just
Comment
on the
live
show.
and-
Yeah,
I kid you not. Let me
that'd be
call
hilarious.
YouTubers out there, seriously, this would be fun. If you want to come out, Chris Mars, any of you guys, Bill Mars, all you Marses out there, anybody, if you come with your computer on Friday and then just sit there and like rank on us while we're doing the show, I think that would be hysterical.
It would be great if like, hey, can I get a picture? And then they go back and they just start saying, all right,
Did you
eight-
say
Egan smells.
rank on us?
Rank? We said that when we were little. Yes, Coach.
Rank
way-
on us? What is
You never said that? That was a thing we said when we were little.
hell
Stop
does that
ranking
mean?
on.
Nah, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't
get
okay. You just had the stupidest opinion in the world.
Coach, what do you
You're
got?
gonna rank on me.
Turn your mic off.
Yes, Coach.
By the way, the first Friday broadcast, it's free.
Oh yeah, it's
Like,
free.
You don't have to pay anything for it. You're
No.
coming in and not only meeting everybody, but you're going to get Deeks Barbecue for free, too.
Wait, why is Pat been taking $10 at the door from me?
I
then?
don't know.
I don't know. Ed Wright says, Bob, I
you.
was there already. You guys don't want me back. Ed, you couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah.
Unless you were the guy that reeked of
The The ganja.
The ganja.
The devil's lettuce. The weed.
I actually thought that was kind of funny.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, like we were all stoned by the end of the show. But Coach comes out, like everybody leaves to get something to eat, and Coach comes sneaking out with some kind of spray.
It wasn't funny.
Oh, he's no.
And
Coach,
he sprayed
Coach,
all over.
Coach
Got to
is
get
a
rid of
narc.
the smell.
Coach
Nah.
is a narc.
The entire the first like 3 hours, 2.5 hours, it was making me want to vomit.
Yes, in a cluster of 6 radio stations, that's the first time that a room has smelled like weed.
Now, Coach, Friday is May 5th. It is Cinco de Mayo. So we will have drinks for people, right? Some margaritas will be mixed up in the back, I would assume. Jamie, right? It's only good radio if you do that for your listeners.
I think so.
For your studio audience.
I'm going to get to work on that.
All right, Coach. You can do it. Or if you want to bring your own, bring your own. Who cares? We're not going to stop you. If you want to slip it to the...
I saw a great TikTok hack. So you get like one of the coffee like tumblers, like a Yeti or a Stanley or whatever. You cut a tea bag. So you just have the little tea thing, and then you pour whatever you want in there. So you could have a big, like 48-ounce margarita, and then just put a little tea thing hanging out the side, and people would think you're drinking tea.
Why don't you just... I don't know why you'd go whatever you want to drink.
Out of like a Dunkin' Donuts.
Like no one's
some people frown upon margaritas at 9 a.m.
But I don't think people. I don't think anyone's
Some.
going to question a guy holding a Yeti and go, "Oh, that's got to be filled with margarita mix."
I mean, Bob drinks every morning.
Yeah, he's drunk right now.
Yeah,
he's saying rank. Like,
I remember when we were at a soccer game one time, like with the tournaments that Coach does. One of my kids was young, and one of the parents was just acting like crazy silly, and she's got like a Dunkin' Donuts thing in her hand, and I'm like, "What are you drinking? Like vodka or something?" And she's like, "No, beer." It was like 8:30 in the morning, and then she goes, "I do it all the time." That's weird.
It's called being a functioning alcoholic, Bob.
I guess. Henderson's expert plumbers are available when you need them with 24-hour emergency plumbing solutions. They arrive in their fully stocked trucks the same day, guaranteed, or it's free. Book at HendersonEasyBook.com. And you know what time of the day it is, Pat?
7:59.
Yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock, and given a couple more seconds, and that means it's time for 97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway. It's your chance to win
97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway.
Yeah.
2 days straight.
How do you forget
that time?
I stopped.
We have opens here, dude.
I stopped.
Welcome to The Fanatic.
I introduced it.
Money for nothing. Tricks for free.
Bob's first week.
Can I go now?
Go.
All right. 97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway. Your chance to win a $1,000 gift card to anywhere you want. Pat, anywhere. The keyword this time is studio, as in Pat has been sneezing in this studio all morning. That's studio. There are 3 ways to play. Enter the keyword on the Fanatic app at 975thefanatic.com or text it to 45911. Once again, the keyword is studio. 97.5 The Fanatic's $1,000 gift card giveaway is presented by American Standard HVAC Contractors. Visit AmericanStandard.com. One person selected at random will win. Complete rules for this company-wide contest at 975thefanatic.com. Good luck. Pat, if you had $1,000 right now, where would you go? Gift card. Boom.
CVS to get allergy meds.
Okay, you'd get like 2 years worth.
CVS has a lot of good stuff.
Allergy medicine does not work for me ever, ever, never.
I was physically as addicted to Zyrtex.
I remember you said that.
So I had to quit the game cold turkey.
How did you wean yourself off? Like,
I was on steroids. No, I was on steroids for poison ivy, I think, at the time. And my doctor, Mike, was like, this is a good mask to go cold turkey now because the steroids kind of override everything. So he's like, if you're going to do it, just do it now. And I was like, all right. So I did it and never gone back, but I miss it dearly.
Do you?
What?
Yeah, it was very effective for me.
Oh.
Like, I need to know what you went through.
I felt like a crackhead after 36 hours where I'd get like full body like itch outbreaks.
Okay.
I was on it for like 12 years.
Wow.
Okay.
But if there's ever a class action lawsuit, I'll hop on. I'm just never going to do the work to do that.
Listen to you. If anybody wants to do the work and I can get some benefit out of it, I'm all for
exactly.
it. Wow, that doesn't describe you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But
Let me ride those coattails. Class action coattails.
As much as we need Sixers Celtics tonight, I love how on our show sheet, we have all the different things that we're going to talk about. Why does Pat's Takes get the biggest font in the world? I don't know why, but it's here for you right now.
With or without Either way, it's time for Pat's Takes.
I appreciate it's the biggest segment.
I would say so.
Like it's the biggest.
That's why it's right smack dab in the middle of the show.
That's right. That sexy Vitica.
Sounds dirty.
Anyway,
You got Coach shaking his head in anger again.
we'll move on.
Yeah, we should.
All right, reading the room is an important trait that some people just don't have. Like, for example, you don't walk into a Ron DeSantis campaign meeting asking if anyone saw the latest Disney flick. It's not the wisest thing to do. But when an entire league fails to read the room, it's kind of insane. But Major League Baseball is that league. Because earlier this season, Cody Bellinger made his return to Los Angeles. And the hometown crowd did what hometown crowds are going to do. They gave him a standing ovation. He was a longtime Dodger, had great career there. So it's like, hey, let's give the guy some respect. Bellinger stepped out of the box, gave the crowd some acknowledgement. He was then dinged for a pitch clock violation. And the umpire was ripped for not being able to read the room in that situation.
Yeah.
Now, Major League Baseball, they realized, this is ridiculous. Like, guys getting a little bit of a clap. So they've rectified it by having teams send a formal request in advance. So if you don't send a formal request in 24 hours saying, hey, there might be a chance of a standing ovation, a little bit of a delay, we want to pay a respect to a player, then you're going to start 0-1. Because you've got a situation of the crowd's going to do what the crowd's going to do.
Yeah.
Crowd's going to clap no matter what. But the player then kind of looks like a J.O. if he doesn't step out of the box and acknowledge the crowd. But the crowd then might not realize, oh, well, the team didn't put in a formal request, so he's just trying to avoid being 0-1. But it's sometimes that baseball continues to just get in their own way.
Yeah, like you know what the right thing is.
Yeah, like
just do it.
I'm not saying the pitch clock is, case by case basis. But in this situation, it's pretty obvious when an umpire should be able to go, okay.
And you already had a precedent. Andrew McCutchen had his first at bat at Pittsburgh when he returned this year,
which was awesome.
And the fans went nuts. And he got out of the box, and the umpire took out his little sweeper, and he went over and acted like he was sweeping off home plate, and he kind of like went out and talked to the pitcher. They handled it perfectly.
Yeah. There's ways around this.
It's so stupid.
The umpire just has to call time.
Yeah, it's important, though, because the Phillies have a big one of these coming up that they're going to have to go ahead and put in for.
All right, what series?
Well, I mean, June 5th, Nick Maton comes back as a member of the Detroit Tigers.
See, I would go Matt Vierling over Maton.
But I was also going to say the Bryce Harper thing coming up on Friday.
Yeah, that's.
You guys think Bryce Harper gets a standing O where he has to step out of the box?
Yeah.
You
don't?
I don't know if he would step out of the box for that, honestly. I think
wait.
I think he's getting an incredible ovation. I don't know if he's stepping out of the box.
If Bryce Harper left here and came back, is that what you said?
No.
On Friday.
When he plays his first home game since returning.
No, I
don't think he steps out.
Yeah,
I agree with Pat on that. I think he gets a standing ovation. I don't think he steps out.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Embrace debate. You guys didn't think there'd be a Matisse Thybulle tribute video either, but
that's true.
What do you just go home and like keep score?
Yes.
No,
yeah.
he's
I keep
right.
score on everything.
Have you met Connor?
We didn't, and there was. I mean, he's right about that.
Okay.
We were still blown away that there was a Matisse Thybulle tribute.
Yeah, we are. That was still stupid.
There are a lot of rules in the sport of golf. All right, a lot of stupid things like, quote, etiquette. You can't talk in a backswing. You can't travel off the cart path. You have to wear the proper attire. You can't walk in front of a ball line. It's just a game full of things trying to make the game less fun. Well, one of the most annoying rules of golf that I actually agree with, and it falls under golf etiquette, is the pace of play. You pay a ton of money to get out there with your boys, wear your finest $190 FootJoy shirt, your $55 hat with a tiny fox on it.
$35.
Some pants that you got on sale at Golf Galaxy, and you spend more time waiting for the group in front of you than actually golfing. Because the group in front of you is just sitting there and taking forever. Whether it's Paulie Pop, who's looking for his noodle that now belongs to the weeds, or it's Harrison Hardo, who takes 37 practice swings before smashing a slice into the woods. The group in front of you can honestly dictate, at times, how you enjoy your Saturday with the boys. And for one foursome in Florida, that it ruined their day. They didn't understand that patience is a virtue you can't buy. They were annoyed with the pace of play and decided to hit balls into the group ahead of them anyway. And this caused an all-out brawl where Bryce, Hudson, Kyler, Colton, they were throwing hands
Yeah.
at the group in front of them. The video was captured. It was sent out on TikTok, so you can go find it. I'll ask you guys, though, has this ever been an issue for you, the pace of play in front of you?
All the time. Yeah, people take way too long.
There's nobody you hate more than the foursome playing in front of you in golf.
All right,
Rightfully or wrongfully.
There's a certain amount of time you can look for lost balls. I like to cap it at like 90 seconds, 2 minutes max. Technically, I think Arnold Palmer's rule is 3 minutes. I think that's even too long.
Yeah,
and then
I glanced.
The thing that makes my blood boil is people lining up putts like it's the freaking U.S. Open and 4 people taking 10 minutes on a green. Just hit. You're probably going to 3-putt anyway. Just hit the ball.
So yesterday we were lucky enough to be at the Dawkins golf outing, and anytime there's a scramble, you're going to run at a pace of play situations because of what you just laid out. But what you just laid out is the reason why, and you guys know this because you've golfed with me. I am pretty habitual with putting my ball down and like hitting it.
See the ball, smack the ball.
Yeah, I'm not taking wiggle that.
Yeah, wiggle that ish.
Wiggle that bleep, smack that bleep. That it. So, yeah, because I'm not going to sit there and take 37 practice swings knowing full well that I am going to probably dribble this thing, 30 feet in front of me after a pop fly. So,
You hit the ball pretty well yesterday. You had some good shots yesterday.
I was better than I normally am, which isn't saying a lot. But I'm still not at the point of, it doesn't make sense for a guy like me to sit there and actually take time. This was actually funny, Jamie. We were on the putting green at one point, and my ball was the farthest. So we agreed on we were going to use Connor's ball, and just to get my ball over there, I end up not even looking,
put it in the hole,
hitting it, and it was probably like
might have been our only birdie.
Yeah, we were blown away. Well,
I'm better at the give up putt. It's so much better than
second time putt.
Yeah, like the one I actually think about and line up. It's like just smack it in.
Yeah, the pace of play thing is.
It's awful.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, we're not on tour here.
Well, you were getting a little impatient, shall I say, with one of our fivesomes yesterday. I think at one point you said to me, "Oh my God, just hit the ball." It may have been me.
I wasn't.
I don't think
you.
it was.
I'm not going to say who it was.
I don't think it was our two guests.
But to this person's credit, they let me know. Look, I got time because you are C-ball hit ball.
I believe it was the first tee box, and I was one practice swing in, and Pat goes, "Just hit the ball already."
Actually, you're exactly right. It was the first tee box.
So now that it's out there, let me just open it up. All right.
Dirty laundry hit it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Here it comes.
Oh, let's air out our dirty laundry.
So we hit the longest drive hole, and it was taking a while because the guy has to get out there and judge, and it was holding up the pace of play a little bit to the point where we were waiting for a while, and the group behind us had completely caught up to us, and it was a group of 4 guys, and actually Trent Cole was one of the guys. And we finally get up there to hit, and I put it down, smash it. I mean, this thing like right down the middle. I'm doing club flips.
Yeah,
like, I'm just being like, guys,
he flipped his club and just kind of walked away.
Not for nothing, but like that's how you do it. Like we can all pack up and go. We're using my ball.
This ain't a hobby, boys.
Yeah. I really do this.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the guy in the group behind us because Connor gets up there and I go, all right, let's play a game. Let's count how many times he does one of these, which is bad for radio. But
yeah, it is.
Like practice, like
he'll pick up his club behind the ball, up.
So he did it. I think it was 18 times.
Really?
18 times he did that, did the practice swing.
Connor.
And I made mention of the fact some people have adapted to the pitch clock and some people clearly haven't.
There's no way 18 times I did it. There's no chance it was 18 times.
I am not
I got to tell you, when Pat told me yesterday that he counted and it was 18, I thought that was a little much too. And I don't do that. I don't care. But I did count you once, like a few holes later. And I will say it was below 18.
Dude, I'm not exaggerating. It was 18 times of practice swing, club up, down, club up, down, club up, down, practice swing, club up, down, back forward. Yeah.
Well, are you just counting every time my club moves? Because it's
that's taking time. When you're not putting your club down and then actually swinging it, I'm counting it because it's wasting time.
Golf takes a while, so sometimes
you're like you told me look, I can afford to do this because you guys are quick.
Speaking of hitting up on foursomes, young Connor did that yesterday. We pull up and a certain host of another station who used to play linebacker and special teams for the Eagles turns around and goes, "Yo, Cooney, what are you doing?" I'm like, no. I ratted him out right away. I said, "No, that was him." It wasn't me, Ike. That was him.
Well, maybe if I didn't have someone yelling in my ear every 5 seconds, swing the club, then I wouldn't have hit up on the group in front of us.
It was definitely my fault.
All good. Right. All right, we get back. John Kincade Show here on 97 The Fanatic. When we get back, we're going to have Shefty on. Adam Schefter's going to join us. We have a lot to talk about because we haven't talked to him much since a lot of the things that have gone down with the Eagles. So we'll get to that with Shefty. A whole lot more Sixers Celtics talk when we get back. I think things are going to change tonight, and I'll tell you how. This is the John Kincade Show, 97. John Kincade Show here, 97.5 The Fanatic. John under the weather. Bob Cooney, Connor Thomas, Pat Egan, Jamie Lynch, and, of course, the affable, sometimes, Coach Eric Camille. We got Shefty coming up. A lot to talk to him about today. As we haven't talked to him since the draft, Pat, and since all this Jonathan Gannon stuff went on, James. So
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
The Rat Fink.
The Rat Fink, as Jamie likes to call him. Not one of your favorite people now.
It's growing. I saw it last week for the first time, and I went, this is fishy. And then the more and more comes out about it, the more and more I dislike it.
You'd like him if you got to know him.
I liked him as a coach. I don't like when my coaches get entertained by other teams on the biggest week of their careers. When we as fans now are left to question things.
I don't like it either. And to get some reaction on this and everything draft, we're going to talk to Adam Schefter right now. Shefty, how are you today, buddy?
Not as good as the city of Philadelphia, up 1-0 on Boston and coming off the draft weekend that you did.
This is the place to be right now. What did you think of that Sixers win, Shefty, without Joel Embiid, and can they do it again tonight?
I was floored. Did not expect it. Thought it was pretty impressive. I mean, wow, that was Houston Harden going to work right there. That looked like a guy on a mission. And the rest of the team chipped in. I honestly would not have thought that they would have been able to do that, especially with Boston playing as well as it did. Like, Boston shot lights out, and they still beat them.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Makes you wonder what Boston could come back with to combat, what happened in Game 1. I don't know if they'll have it, but we'll see tonight. And being the basketball fan that you are, Shefty, I know you're excited for this game, too.
I'll be watching.
Good man. All right, let's get your synopsis, if we could. If the people of Philadelphia can hear what you have to say about this draft for the Eagles. Obviously, Georgia heavy, getting Jalen Carter the way they did. Shefty, just in a synopsis, what did you think?
I mean, I don't think you could have drawn up a draft that would go much better than the draft that this was for the Philadelphia. I thought, Carter.
We're losing Shefty.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
From what I'm reading of him getting broken up, he's saying it's the best draft ever in the history of the world that the Eagles just had, right? You there, Shefty?
Yeah, you got me now, guys?
Okay, we got you now. All right, so you said it couldn't have gone any better, and then we started to lose you.
Not any better. I don't know if you could have drawn up a scenario in which they would wind up with the guys that they did. And I think when you start with Jalen Carter, and the interesting part is that I don't really think – they went back and forth on him for a long time. It was not like it was a slam dunk decision, oh, yeah, we're going to take Jalen Carter. But what was key was the day of the draft, that Thursday. Jalen Carter got on the phone with Nick Sirianni and other Eagles officials and told them how much he wanted to be there and how important it was and what kind of version of Jalen Carter that they would be getting. And I believe that the calls that he made that day, in addition to the way the board fell, were instrumental in him winding up there. Like I said, they went back and forth on him, and they were not sold initially on taking him. But he himself did a great sell job, convincing them that he's going to be on his best behavior and be a model citizen and be a great player. And I think they believed him and took him at his word with the way he sounded that day.
Wow.
So that was interesting to me. And then you would never think that Nolan Smith would drop to the spot that he did. There were teams trying to trade up to Philly's spot, and Philly didn't want to trade out of there when Nolan Smith was available. So that was a huge win. Ringo, they had a high grade on, so they didn't mind giving up the future 3 because that's essentially the type of grade that they had on him, and they're getting him now in the confines of the Georgia migration to Philadelphia. And then, the DeAndre Swift thing to me is just so smart. It's just in my mind, there is zero downside to that trade and enormous upside. You trade for a guy who's in the last year of his contract, who's due $1.77 million this year. So the price is very low. He's from Philadelphia. It's going to mean a lot to the guy to come home to try to help the team win, especially when he's in his contract year. So if he stays healthy and if he plays well, and if he leaves after the year, you're going to get back the pick you gave up anyway in a compensatory draft pick. So where's risk?
Yeah.
There is none.
None. None at all. Shefty, the question I have to ask you after what you just said about Jalen Carter, were the Eagles the only team he called professing how good he's going to be, or was it numerous calls?
I believe the Eagles were the team that he was on the phone with on Thursday, kind of going toward, because I think his agent knew that there were certain teams in front of them that weren't going to take him. And I think he recognized, when I looked at it, I felt like the potential landing spots for Jalen Carter would be number 5, which was Seattle, number 9, Chicago, and number 10, Philadelphia. Detroit wasn't going to take him. Don't think the Raiders are going to take him. Don't think the Falcons are going to take him. So now you're down to 5, 9, 10. And we knew, excuse me,
God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. He knew, season to the truth, he knew that Chicago did have an interest and that Chicago was a potential landing spot. Didn't know how Seattle was going to fall out, and as it turned out, they took Witherspoon, who was going to be on the board there always. So Seattle was probably not ever really a likely scenario, though I think the Seahawks were intrigued, and John Schneider called his organization together last weekend, got them all together, and told everybody that if we draft Jalen Carter, we're going to give him every resource possible to make sure that he's the best Jalen Carter. And so I want everybody to be ready for that. But they didn't go that way because they just had higher graded players. So really it was going to come down to Chicago and Philly. Chicago definitely liked him. And he plays the position that is the most important position in the Bears defense. And so that was always possible. But I think Jalen Carter and his agent both knew that they needed Philadelphia to be interested. And so they concentrated their efforts on Thursday on basically sharing their feelings and thoughts and convincing the Eagles why it would be a good pick. And ultimately they made that pick that day.
Adam, your story there about Jalen Carter is an interesting one, but there's no doubt. I think part of the reason, besides interest from the Eagles, he wanted to be here is because now the Philadelphia Eagles are Athens North. I think with the DeAndre Swift trade, I think there's basically 6 Bulldogs on this squad now all of a sudden. Yeah. I think there's 21 SEC players. There's been a pretty dramatic shift in the Eagles' philosophy these past 2 years when it comes to the draft. How much did Jordan Davis, a guy that Carter really looked up to when they were at Athens together, how much did his former national championship teammates being here, help push him towards Philadelphia?
Well, I think it definitely played a difference. There are people who say, and I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, there are people who say that Jordan Davis was somebody that kept Jalen Carter in check, and one of the few people there that kept him in check. And so having him in Philadelphia was something that I think made the Eagles more comfortable in picking Jalen Carter on Thursday. Now, if Jordan Davis weren't there, would they still pick him? Maybe. I think it was a confluence of circumstances. When I went to the draft, I really did not think that they were going to take him. But there were a confluence of circumstances. Number one, the telephone calls that Jalen Carter and his agent made on Thursday to the organization were significant. And number two, the way the board fell a certain way. And I still don't know exactly who the players were that the Eagles also had rated highly and thought were under consideration at 9, but I do know that they were gone. So really, Jalen Carter was the last best player in that range, and he reassured them throughout the day on Thursday that they were going to get the best Jalen Carter. Now, we'll see whether or not that's true, but that's what he told the organization that day. And so between his talks and the way the board fell, he was the pick. And I will say, like that night, I was surprised he was the pick. I was surprised. But after you hear even more about it, you understand why it turned out to fall the way it did.
Yeah. Adam, there was a very interesting story that didn't kind of get the attention I think it deserved, and that was the Arizona Cardinals and Philadelphia Eagles tampering case with Jonathan Gannon. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One is it something that happens all the time? D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans is another example. And then there's the other angle, which is this was handled between Jeffrey Lurie and Michael Bidwell on the ownership level. Now, have the Eagles exploited something in this pick swap that the rest of the league is going to piggyback on and call out more often? Or is this something more substantial than your average coaching hire kind of while in season, playoff season?
Well, I do think it goes on quite a bit. I do think that there are a lot of teams that talk to a lot of coaches when they're in the playoffs. It's a natural thing. And look, if you're a coach and you're under consideration for a head coaching job, you're under consideration because of the job you've done and the person you are. And I think everybody knows in any line of work, if they're on an expiring contract or they're under consideration, they still have a responsibility to their employer to do the job the right way. And so they know what they can and can't do. So, I think these coaches realize, as hard as it is, we're not a coach, preparing for a playoff game. At the time, he's doing multiple coaching interviews, right? Like there's all sorts of things that go on. In this particular case, I just think the Eagles weren't comfortable with the information that they learned. And Jeffrey brought it up to Michael Bidwell. And this is where the organizations wound up. Do I think we're going to see more of that? I don't think so. But I think that if there were cases where teams felt like other teams were in violations of the rules, then you would. If they felt like they had evidence that there was tampering, then you'd see that. And the Eagles felt like there was evidence of tampering, and so they went and pursued it. And that's where it wound up.
Is there a bad taste in the mouth of some in the Eagles organization right now about how it all went down? Now that we're removed from the Super Bowl emotions and you're kind of sitting back and, hindsight being 20/20, is there a sour taste down there at the NovaCare Center?
Well, the interesting part about it would be this. I think that it impacted a lot of people's lives. Vic Fangio, for example, probably would not have taken the Dolphins defensive coordinator job and would be the defensive coordinator in Philadelphia today if everything was on the up and up. And so it didn't just impact the Cardinals and their job and Jonathan Gannon. It impacted others as well. And so today the Eagles defense coordinator, Sean Desai, and they really like him a lot, and he has got a bright future. But he might not be the guy if everything had been done the way it should have been.
Shefty.
So, I think that there are certain people that, might not be pleased with the way that everything went down.
For the draft he had, and maybe you also did, the Eagles, I don't want to say significantly, but a step above everybody else in the NFC. Did this draft, on paper, obviously, because we haven't seen these kids play yet, but did this draft further widen that gap between the Eagles and NFC others?
Bob, look, I'm hesitant to say those things.
Right.
Look, it certainly looks like they're better than anybody else in the conference, but we have no idea. There may be somebody that San Francisco drafted in the 5th round that's going to pop and become a star that we never saw. Or there may be a quarterback that suffers an injury on another team, or there may be regression on some of the, you just don't know these factors. But if the Eagles fans want to feel good, yeah, they look like the best team in the NFC right now. Yes, absolutely. Whatever that means on May 3rd or whatever day
right.
it is.
Yeah.
Right? That's how it seems. And then you go to training camp and things happen and the season starts. Okay. So yeah, they were the best. They were the NFC champion. They look like they got better. So they've done everything that they should have done. What that means in the season, who knows? We'll see. But they've put together as good a team as they possibly can, I would say.
Adam, Peter Schrager from the NFL Network said some around the league are annoyed at the media attention and love that Howie Roseman and the Eagles are getting. What do you know about that?
I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay.
So that would be a
stop giving Howie love, Shefty.
I guess so. You know, you you do your job the right way. You're supposed to get lauded. And I have not heard anybody say, "Man, I can't believe the Eagles are getting all that attention." I haven't heard it. I'm sure somebody said it to Peter. I don't know who. Okay, yeah, whatever. You know what? You don't like it? Go do your own job.
That's right.
Shefty, you had made mention of the fact that you didn't think that Jalen Carter was going to be the pick at 9. So who did you think was going to be the pick when they were on the clock?
I didn't know. I think that they would have liked if Witherspoon fell, would be my guess. I think Tyree Wilson was a guy that appealed to a lot of teams. The guys that went in front of them, Bijan Robinson, I think interested them. I don't know that he would have interested them at 10. I don't know. But there were some guys that went before them. It's not, I mean, look, it's not any of the 3 of the quarterbacks that were picked in the top 4 picks. So it's not any of them. So it's all the other guys. I mean, it's not hard to figure out, right? Like Tyree Wilson went, Witherspoon went, Bijan went. And I would think that those are guys that interested them as they interested a lot of teams.
Would they have considered Bijan if he were there?
But I don't have a black and white factual, and I don't know. My own theory is that they liked him, but I don't know that they liked him at 10. I don't know that they did. I can't say that definitively one way or another because I just don't know.
All right, Shefty, I'm going to leave you with this, and you're allowed to make a prediction because this is not the sport you cover. I'm going to preface it by saying Joel Embiid is not going to play in this game tonight. Who do you like?
Is that
no?
By the way, is that what we think? We think he's not going to play.
Yeah, I think
that's what the majority of us think here, at least in this room, and there's 3 of us, so take it for what it's worth.
By the way, here would be my question: when is Game 3? So if he doesn't
Friday
play tonight, he gets
Friday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah. Up 1-0. No Embiid tonight. I'll just say this to you: there is no Embiid tonight. How would you predict this game?
I would not think that they would win. I mean, it's sort of like the Heat last night. They went up 1-0 in New York. They're playing without Jimmy Butler. They played a tough game because they're a tough team. I would expect Philly to be tough because it's a tough team. But to think that they would go steal 2 games in Boston without Embiid, if they can, that would be unbelievable. It would be But I think the human nature of this, as we all can and would agree, is that they're playing with house money right now, right? Like, if you had said before the series started, would you be happy taking one of the games in Boston? Yeah. Now, they're not thinking like this. I'm just talking like in a human common sense level. And so, no, I wouldn't expect them to win. I think they're going to get a great game from Boston. Boston knows the urgency with which it has to play. And I think they go back to Philadelphia on Friday night 1-1. And if I'm wrong, good for these Sixers. That'd be great for them.
Respectfully, you're wrong.
Yeah, respectfully, many people are telling you to stick to football here in Philadelphia, Shefty.
Okay. Well, listen, I try to shoot it straight and give you my factual. I'm not going to lie. Like, that's what I think.
Good man.
We'd rather have you lie with this one.
Yeah, next time lie.
Just pander.
Yeah, well, Philly, it's a lock. Bet your house.
There we go.
2-0.
That's what we like to hear. Shefty, listen, hope you have a great week. Can't wait to talk to you next Wednesday.
Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. Be good.
Adam.
Good to see you, or good to talk to you. Good. We didn't see him. We just talked to him.
You don't know what
Eagles are pissed.
I have know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they're not happy.
We speak Shefty.
Yeah, we do.
The Eagles are pissed.
Yeah, they are.
They clearly were annoyed about how the Vic Fangio stuff went down.
Yeah, and they should be.
And we thought that at the time. We kind of considered oh, man, this is unfortunate. He wouldn't have left, and the Shefty's flat out saying, yeah, he wouldn't have left.
And that was all so weird, too, at the time we talked about it.
If Vic Fangio goes on to lead this Dolphins defense to greatness this year.
Because their offense is really good.
And Sean Desai has question marks about him.
I think Sean Desai is absolutely going to have question marks about him. He's a rookie defensive coordinator.
If the Dolphins are great and the Eagles defense isn't, Jonathan Gannon's going to quickly become one of the most hated expats of Philadelphia sports.
It's going to be like Chip Kelly-ish, would you say?
I think
Maybe
people
worse.
forgot about Chip Kelly more than they hated him. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like,
And
all
there
right, he's
was
gone, who
some
cares?
good with Chip.
Yeah,
And there
I
was
feel
some
like-
good with Gannon, in fairness.
I mean, but towards the end, just like with Gannon, it was.
But it ended on the biggest stage.
And that's the problem.
And that's
Is-
where it leaves you asking questions over and over again.
You go towards the end, it was bad. It was really just one game because I mean, a week before that game, we're cracking up about we're going to effing cut these guys.
As Shefty said, it led to impacting so many others and
trickle-down
other
effect.
decisions. It affected the whole entire offseason and direction of the franchise.
I'll tell you one guy that loves Jonathan Gannon, Sean Desai.
Yeah.
Sean Desai,
sure.
Sean Desai's a Jonathan Gannon jersey.
He might
That's my
like him more
guy.
than
Yeah.
Kincade.
Yeah, he's gonna do like a quarter zip swap with Jonathan Gannon if they ever play him.
So here's the other
Jersey
really
swap.
interesting part that came out of that. Jalen Carter's agent and stuff, they're calling the Eagles
Drew
saying,
Rosenhaus.
please pick me, please pick me.
That was an interesting call with
Drew,
Adam.
Yeah.
Drew Rosenhaus and Real Sports did a story on him this past month about how he kind of plays the PR game. And they even actually brought up Adam about how Drew Rosenhaus really worked his bag off to get this guy drafted top 10.
Worked his bag off?
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
He was telling people that he was going top 10, and then he went this like PR blitz to point out that he was going top 10 by not having him visit anybody that wasn't in the top 10, by having Schefter and informing him so Schefter would tweet out about he wasn't going to go not visit anybody not top 10. And this is another, I think, cog in that wheel of we're going to call the Eagles because we know that Jordan Davis is your guy. It's a good landing spot for you. They could be interested. I don't think though Shefty quite understood my question of.
It was confusing.
Well, no, I don't think it was.
I don't know.
When
Not
they
everybody
were on the
speaks
clock,
Matt.
who did you think they were going to take? And
I think he knew he didn't want to give it up.
All right, man.
Sometimes
Sorry.
Shefty doesn't give things
All
up.
right, dude.
Well, talking about Jalen. No, I'm not talking
No,
about
it's
Jalen
fine, man.
Carter.
It's
Matt
fine.
in Center City. Let's see what you got to say. What's up, Matt?
How are you guys?
Good, Matt. What's going on?
Yeah, I get a little worried about Jalen Carter and the relationship that him and Jordan Davis might have had at Georgia isn't going to be the same relationship in the NFL. Jordan Davis isn't necessarily going to be playing over him. They're not going to have the big brother, little brother type of thing because there's a lot of ego in the NFL. And then secondly, I also don't understand the guy on the biggest day of his career came in like completely out of shape. Like that doesn't give you a red flag.
Well, I think there was probably some mental strife he went through that led to that, right?
Doesn't that give you a red flag? Well, what if that takes a year, 2 years, 3 years to subside? What if
Sure.
I mean, it's a red flag for sure.
Yes, it
but
does.
as the Eagles said, they got to know his friends and family and teammates and coaches, and they felt strongly in his character.
Yeah, man.
So, I don't know.
I had a guy on from Georgia on Saturday, and I asked him kind of point blank what you just said. If it was it a situation of a kid who had a really bad night, or was it this kid actually has character issues? And he said he actually does have some character issues. So there is credence to what you're saying. There are red flags. There's a reason why the guy was probably the most talented guy in the draft and dropped to 9.
I agree, and that worries me. Plus,
Yes, it's fair.
Worries me too.
and there's a ton of Georgia Bulldog players on this team, but none of them are absolute bona fide studs currently. I'm talking about the ones that haven't played in the NFL yet. We don't know about, but you're N'Kobe Dean, you're Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis plays 30% of the snaps.
Yeah.
Like that's not good enough.
It's fair enough, Matt. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
He's
Sorry
going to play a lot more this year.
And it's a question that I asked last week of who do we have on last week? What's his
know.
name's old partner?
Now you want me to talk?
Buck Bellew. Yeah, I said, are these guys better as a team or can they go into the NFL individually?
He said both.
And he was kind of like, yeah, kind of.
Well,
both,
look,
so.
this is why the Eagles are the best team in the NFC when they take first-round draft picks and don't need immediate contributions from them and can develop them.
Good point.
Like
Jamie.
N'Kobe Dean, we have no idea on, really. Jordan Davis, you've seen flashes of, being capable, and his role is going to grow this year. But the Eagles like to rotate these guys in the positions that they're drafting them in, so it's all good.
Yeah.
All good.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. When we get back on the John Kincade Show, we're going to dive deep. Pat's going to dive deep into tonight's Sixers-Celtics game. Can't wait for that, 8 o'clock tonight. But in the meantime, imagine
97.5 The Fanatic. Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
John Kincade Show here at 97.5 The Fanatic. John's under the weather. Bob Cooney, Pat Egan, Jamie Lynch, Connor Thomas, Coach Eric Camille. We're all here in the house. Haley's taking care of our YouTube page. And I want to remind all you YouTubers out there, our friends in the YouTube world, and anybody else listening, streaming, whatever, come see us on Friday. We're doing our first Friday show. That's right, first Friday of every month. We do a first Friday show, and we're doing it this Friday. And if you want to be part of our live studio audience, all you have to do is go to 975thefanatic.com and secure yourself a spot with a guest. So you and a guest, you come see us. Deke's Barbecue is going to be bringing us breakfast. Can't wait for that. We're going to have in-studio guests. Keith Pompey, Mark Zumoff, they're already lined up. Actor, comedian Harlan Williams, he's already lined up. It's going to be a great, great day. Come on out and see us. It's always a good time. Talk to anybody that's ever come. They'll let you know. And as we said, YouTubers, Jamie had a great idea. Bring your computer with you. You can judge us right there in person.
Troll us live on spot.
Or tell us how much you like us, maybe. That could happen, too.
Nah, we thrive off the trolling.
Maybe, but we still have fun with it. So come on out on Friday. It doesn't cost you a penny. You get fed for free, and maybe we'll have some fun. And if it all goes well, being as it's May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Coach will take us out for drinks after the show.
Man.
So we
nice
appreciate
day
that.
shaping up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching the Sixers game with a Knicks fan. Is that okay with you guys?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, why would that be a problem?
Because Pat immediately said no.
Pat does have fan issues at times.
I do.
He's a Mets fan, Pat.
Yeah, dude, that's scumbag behavior.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be watching
You're
the
going to
Sixers
watch
game.
a Sixers game with a Mets fan.
Yeah.
If they lose, it's on you.
I don't think that has anything to do with the game.
It has everything to do with it.
I
Pretty
watched
sure it
with a Timberwolves fan for game one.
That's fine. That has nothing to do.
Why is that different?
Because they're not in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's not. They're not in the playoffs. They're not in your division. He's not a Mets fan.
Jamie, you do you, buddy.
No,
I tell you to
no,
do you.
Believe me, I will be.
Hey, we had a great time yesterday at the Brian Dawkins golf outing. We met our man Kevin, and he's calling in right now. Kevin, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, good to talk to you guys. It was great to meet you yesterday morning. Have a little breakfast with you, and then be the group behind you for the day.
It wasn't a small breakfast for some of us, was it, Kevin?
Enough.
Kevin knows. Tell the people. How big was Pat's plate?
He enjoyed some French toast and some eggs.
You know what? Some of us
And
are
omelet
grown men.
and ham
Some of us are
and
grown men.
sausage
We don't
and
sit here
bacon.
and eat like a baby bird. All right? All right?
Yeah, you do eat like kind of a bitch, Bob.
Yeah.
Whoa, this is coming back
And
to
then
me.
he sits there and wonders why he lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
All right?
I know why I
you
lost
look
20
like Matthew
pounds.
McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club. Maybe you need some French toast.
Kevin, you see the crap I put up with away from the breakfast table?
He saw
Well,
it yesterday.
I will say you guys are exactly the same off air as you are on air.
Did you have fun yesterday, Kev?
Had a ball. Had
Yeah.
an absolute ball, and had to definitely call in. I was listening to you guys on the way into work, as I usually do, but going with Pat Stakes on pace of play on the long drive hole, sitting there, I was, when he was referencing sitting back there, it was me that he was with, and we were like 12, 13, 14.
Thank you. And thank you for calling in and backing me up on this.
Wow.
And there's,
Connor's getting thrown under the bus.
I'm sorry, I had to though. It was great. He called it, and then we watched and hit it there. I mean, he had some power behind the shots. I'll give him that.
Oh, yeah. Connor hit the ball well.
Connor's good. He just takes 45 minutes, though, to load up.
Maybe if you took longer, you'd be better.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't think so.
I think he's talking to
No,
Pat,
I
not
don't
you,
think so
Kevin.
I don't think so.
Not you, Kev. That-
I was jealous of Kev, though, because Kev ended up golfing with probably a top 3 Eagle for me of all time. Trent Cole.
I was wondering if you were going to geek out over him at one point.
I didn't want to bother him.
Over Trent Cole,
It's
not
ironic
Kevin.
because we were cleaning out some clothes this weekend, and my future ex-wife said, can we throw this out? And I was like, no, we're not throwing out my number 2 all-time on the franchise sack list Trent Cole jersey. We're not throwing that out. And then he happened to be behind us.
I can't believe you didn't say hello.
Yeah, I didn't want to bother him.
So he was so nice. I mean, big into hunting and fishing. I actually brought a football that I got signed by him almost 20 years ago, probably 15 years ago. Brought it and showed it to him. He was blown away, and then did an updated signing for me with the Hunter nickname, Eagles Hall of Fame type of thing. He couldn't have been a nicer guy. Just a great guy to golf with. So the whole experience, the Dawkins Drive for Impact event was just terrific, and it was so cool to see you guys. I got to drop in and see Tunis real quick. I missed Cuz at the middays, and then the afternoon crew at the end there, where I saw you, Bob, and some of the afternoon team. So listen to you guys all the time, just big fans. And
yeah, great to meet you, Kev.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks so much for the kind
for
words.
backing me up, Kev. I appreciate it.
I'm glad that meeting us didn't ruin your day. So,
Kev, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah,
back me up.
All right, Kev, have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
At least you got a compliment on your shades from him.
That was backhanded.
You like that?
I'm not falling for that one.
Like that.
I've talked to enough girls to know when I'm being insulted backhandedly.
So this Adam Schefter quote is getting the Twitter attention here. About
spicy.
Jonathan Gannon. Yeah.
So
It's,
for people
spreading
just
to some
joining in,
national
James,
accounts,
because it's kind of I don't want to say a complicated story, but there's a lot involved. So if you don't mind, just give people that maybe just tuning in here and didn't have a chance to hear Shefty the synopsis of all this Jonathan Gannon
yeah, it was
stuff.
the story was kind of almost lost in draft day, even though it had to do with a third-round pick swap, and that's not something that a team wants to do, especially when they're a top end of the third-round team. So the Cardinals and Eagles ended up swapping third-round picks. The Eagles threw in a future seventh, I guess, to even it out. But what I found interesting was that the swap was decided upon between Jeffrey Lurie and Michael Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals. This was not done on the GM level. This was done on the ownership level, and it had to do with the tampering the Cardinals did with the Eagles during Super Bowl week. Now, if they weren't the host city, I might say but they were the host city. They were in his building at their training facility. You can have them over the house. You can have them out for dinner a lot easier than you could be in a different city. Jonathan Gannon lied through his teeth all Super Bowl week about it to us here as the fan base and the media. That is clear now because clearly Jeffrey Lurie had some evidence. And it has to do with the Cardinals GM admitting to it after multiple denials by both them and Jonathan Gannon about the level of tampering. And Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, credit to them, called their bluff and said, nah, we're getting something. There's going to be some blood coming from you guys on this because we have evidence. And there must clearly be evidence of a substantial nature for them to give up a third-round pick like that. So it kind of got lost in draft date a little because of all the excitement of Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and all this. But the more and more I think about it, like Jonathan Gannon he's an enemy of the state. I liked his performance he got out of his defense on the field last year. I think he did a really nice job as DC here. But now I think he's a rat fink enemy of the state, and I'll forever hate him. Is that fair?
That was a good synopsis, if you ask me.
But I mean, that's real for Adam Schefter to say there's people inside the NovaCare that are not pleased and that Vic Fangio, basically Adam said it impacted a lot of people's lives. Sean Desai might not be the defensive coordinator of the Eagles because the Eagles would have kept Vic Fangio here as DC. And Vic Fangio, because remember, Jonathan Gannon the week prior to media week was saying, oh no, I'm coming back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He absolutely
was
said
selling that. So Vic Fangio's going,
why am I here?
All right, the Dolphins want me. I thought I was going to be the natural shoe-in here. So he flees for Miami. No doubt the Eagles wanted to keep him. They had the personnel for his defense. He's been a mentor and worked with the Eagles for the past two training camps, worked with Jonathan Gannon. So he saw the job opportunity was gone. So he flees for Miami. You know that's who the Eagles wanted. And then they're left scrambling. They like Sean Desai. That's great and all. Sean Desai benefits from this. Eagles probably don't because they lose, one of the biggest names amongst defensive coordinators in football. Jonathan Gannon, rat fink, enemy of the state. Screw him.
Wow, wild story. Shefty giving us that. Also, the fact that Jalen Carter and his agent were calling the Eagles. Pick me, pick me.
That's
Bay in
interesting,
North
too.
Philly thinks it's a good thing. Bay, what do you got? You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hello?
Hey, Bay, what's going on?
Hey, listen, I just wanted to say something to the guy that had all these negative things to say after one of the historical drafts we've ever had. I don't understand. We just came off a Super Bowl appearance, almost won. We shouldn't be in this position. So to have all these negative things to say, listen, we all have character issues, even right now, whether big or small.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a mess, Bay.
Yeah, we all have things we need to work on. So I think as a fan, we need to stop always looking for something bad to say. Just be happy.
Yeah, I think
there's no way that we're not going to be competitive next season.
His tone was very negative. I'll say that, but I do think that the message behind what he was saying is there's some validity to it. I mean, there is a little pause. I don't want to get too excited because there is a reason why he dropped to pick 9. But with all that said, there's a reason to get excited because he dropped to pick 9.
Yeah,
you got arguably the best player in the draft, talent wise, at pick 9. But the character concerns are real. You can't ignore them. But the fact that you were able to get him at a spot where I think most fans thought that he was going to be gone already, it's hard to really complain about it.
Well, just one more quick thing. I doubt that this guy get all the way to the NFL. If Jordan Davis was a mentor in Georgia, he'll be a mentor in Philly. This is why he wanted to come here. So him even saying that doesn't make any sense to me. The guy trying to surround himself with leaders that he looked up to. This guy is not going to come to the NFL and squander that opportunity. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, Bay. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Really interesting that Jordan Davis was there when both Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith came in. And I think it was
Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean were at Nolan Smith's draft party.
I talked about that. And that was awesome to see.
Yeah.
But I think he was there more for Jalen Carter. I think he was there obviously for both of them, but I think he made a concentrated effort of like, yo, my boy got drafted. All that leadership we talked about, all the stuff that Adam Schefter laid out before the draft about how this was a guy who kept Jalen Carter in check. I think we kind of saw a glimpse of that with the fact that he made his way down to the NovaCare complex to welcome them into the Eagles family.
And it makes sense why Jalen Carter would want to be here. I mean, who wouldn't want to play with like 4 of their boys from a national
comfort zone, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a learning curve. Now you have somebody to show you the ropes, take you through the city, tell you where to live. Like, that's just an easy – like, when you start a new job, boil it down to just human nature and on any work level. When you start a new job, there's a certain nervousness and learning the way the place works and this and that. If you got 4 of your boys that already work there, you're coming in and you're getting shown, the real deal right away. So – I think it's a natural fit of why he wanted to be here. And when you do boil it down, yeah, there might be some character issues. I know it's a horrific incident, but it was one really bad decision. And the Eagles believe it's just that. It was one bad decision that he'll learn from and grow from. And I think they have the right locker room with the Brandon Grahams and Fletcher Coxes and, Lane Johnsons, Jason Kelsey's that, they feel comfortable bringing somebody like that into the locker room.
That's part of it for me, is that he's not entering a locker room that lacks leadership.
Or friends.
I know that you kind of dismiss the whole leadership thing, but I think in this situation...
I don't dismiss it.
I won't say leadership. I'll say mentor. The fact that last season you have Fletcher Cox, who knows he's getting up there in age, facing the last year of his contract, so he could have been gone.
Mm-hmm.
He could have handled it like Brett Favre. He could have handled it like Aaron Rodgers. He could have completely ignored Jordan Davis and basically been like, yeah, kid, learn on your own. But he didn't. He went out there. He showed Jordan Davis the town. He wanted to kind of be a mentor to him. And now you've got Jalen Carter coming in, who's got his buddy already 1 year into the league, but then also he gets to learn from a guy like Fletcher Cox, who me and Jamie are in lockstep with this. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. That's I think that goes a long way. You've got Brandon Graham on that defensive line that he can learn from. I think that's going to go a long way. You've got guys there that I think will make sure he doesn't step out of line necessarily and have some of those character flaws like what we heard about in Georgia. I'm not talking about the one incident, but I'm talking about not giving it your all every play, kind of taking some stuff off. I think he's going to learn pretty quickly from this leadership group. That doesn't fly here.
Well, and in college, too, you can get away with not playing every play if you're that good.
Yep.
The NFL level, you can't. So he'll probably learn that real quick.
I correlate it to my own life in coming here. And, unsure, never did radio before.
He took so many shows off.
And Pat, you being here.
So many segments off.
I had a mentor right away.
Yep.
And someone that I could rely on and a close friend.
I just scare you straight.
And, someone that I knew would put me in place should I fall off the tracks.
We don't take segments off here,
You've
Bob.
been none of that. since I've been here. So, Jamie, I thank you for being all of that after I got here.
You can mail a column in now and then.
That's
when
true.
You're on the beat.
Which I
You can afford to do a story on Jarvis Varnado.
Hey.
You can't afford to just...
It needed to be told.
You can't afford to sit here and waste a segment. Because why? Every second counts.
That's right. And every second's going to count tonight for the Sixers against the Boston Celtics. And in Pat's point of view, he's got some thoughts on it right now.
This is Pat's point of view. Here's Pat.
All right.
Let me break it down for you.
He's getting serious now.
All right,
man.
Everybody pay attention.
Yeah. Funny stuff's over now. This is serious, Pat.
This is my point of view.
Yeah.
I don't play.
It ain't yours. I'm not jumping on your bandwagon. This is me. All right.
I don't like people playing on my phone.
Get it done. Here I come.
All right, Pat. What's your point of view?
I can't seriously break this team down after that.
All right, man. You said it. All right. Let's go.
I was going to talk about...
Do you want me to tell you about Bet Parks? Because Bet Parks is the official winning partner of your Philadelphia 76ers. Must be 21 in PA or New Jersey. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Pat, I'm trying to buy you some time, man. I can't go on forever.
Let's not forget about Friday. If you all want to come on Friday, it's open house. Just go to 97.5thefanatic.com, sign up, you and a friend, hang out with Giggle and Pat, me, everybody around here. We'll have some fun. We're going to eat some barbecue.
I love barbecue.
Pat, all right?
Pulled meats first thing in the morning.
Oh, man, there's nothing like a good pulled meat.
I feel like Bob right now. I just can't, I can't contain my laughter.
You can do it.
Take a deep breath.
All right. Here you go.
I'm so high right now. I have no idea what's going on, man.
I was going to say the fact that we are at a spot where I found it interesting. The Woj quote was, there's hope that he can play on Wednesday. And that leads me to believe that he's not completely done for this series and that at worst, he will be playing Friday.
I think he plays Friday.
I don't think I'm like breaking news here. I don't think this is a wild opinion, but when I initially wrote this, which was yesterday, I just found it very interesting it wasn't Woj, and Woj is a lot like Schefter. He's very specific on how he words things. And it wasn't there's hope he plays this series. It was there's hope he plays for Wednesday. Now, we're all in lockstep. We don't expect him to play tonight. We'd be very pleasantly surprised if he did. We'd be pretty surprised if he's cleared. You don't really I don't want to say you don't need him to play tonight, but you have the luxury of not playing him because you've already split. That tweet was written, though, before the series started, before the Sixers beat Boston in Game 1. And I do think that there might be a situation where he would play tonight had he been healthy-ish if they had fallen behind, but you have that luxury. But it's more just about the hope that I think he Friday. I'm not worried about Friday. And I feel about Friday like you felt about Game 1, where you said, like, I'd be blown away.
A week out, I said I'd be shocked if he wasn't in that starting lineup.
And I was like that, too, until I had Keith Pompey on with me on Saturday.
What say, Keith?
And Keith was like, yeah, from Keith's tone, it didn't sound.
Yeah.
It completely changed my opinion. Because when the news came out, he's doubtful, I was like, we've seen this hundreds of times from Joel. All right.
3 or 4 times in the playoffs when doubtful he's played.
It's like we know the story. It's around this time, it's always upgraded to questionable, and then it's probable, and then all of a sudden, the dramatics happen, and he shows up.
Yeah.
So I thought that was going to happen. Have Keith on, his tone kind of led me to believe, it ain't happening. But with Friday, because of the way that Woj worded the tweet, I would be very surprised if he didn't play. So I do think that there's a lot of hope with this Sixers team, and regarding him coming back, him getting the MVP award, and I'm pretty confident. And I wasn't that way.
For Friday.
Yeah, I wasn't that way necessarily before.
Yeah.
Before the tweet went out.
Here's what still concerns me, and the reason I believe he won't play tonight. As I said, we have not gotten any word that he's amped up his workouts at all. We haven't gotten word. We've gotten word that he went up and down the court a couple of times. Maybe he is playing hard with teammates, but I don't see that after watching him at shoot-around the other day and not even lifting his feet off the floor when he was taking shots. I think they need a workout out of him. I think they need to see him run up and down the floor at an extended time, because once he does that, the big test is the next day. It's the swelling the next day, the swelling after that. You play him on Friday without that, you're guaranteed swelling on Saturday, and you're guaranteed to wonder, can he go on Sunday? So I think sitting him out tonight is absolutely the smart thing to do. Although Doc Rivers said in a quote yesterday, has nothing to do with us being up 1-0. It's health-based.
I don't believe it.
Okay, that's a reaction.
I think if they're down 0-1, they try everything humanly possible to get them out there tonight.
They're in a good spot.
Yeah, they're in a great spot. I mean, winning game 1 was huge for several reasons. I don't push it tonight. I'm with you. I wait till Friday. I know it sounds like a loser mentality, and you can step on their throat and all that. You did your job up there. You took one. Bring it home. Make it a best-of-5 series with home court advantage. That, it's kind of that simple, right?
We're all balls to the wall. Like, I think this city is built on that. We're all balls to the wall. We all want to go 100% all of the time. That's our mentality as a city, individuals, whatever it may be, and we want our athletes to be that also. But there has to be a time to be also smart.
Yeah, and I think making it a 5-game series with 3 games at home is the time to be smart.
And who says they can't go out there and get another one tonight? Your confidence has to be going
I'm
into tonight.
shocked they're 10 10-point dogs again.
Are they real? I meant to look that up, bro. They're 10-point dogs again?
It jumped from 9 yesterday on Bet Parks to 10 this morning.
You think it goes back to what you talked about with just the fact that they're kind of...
There's Celtic slurping going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of love between...
That shocks me.
But this is Vegas, though. Like, Vegas doesn't do that.
I know.
Like, Vegas doesn't go, oh, all right, well, I remember watching Kevin McHale and Larry Bird, and this is the Celtics dynasty we're talking about.
Well, I think part of it is James Harden doesn't get respect anymore.
Here's what I find really weird. The Celtics shot lights out
and didn't win
on Friday night. Yeah. They got an 11-point lead. The Sixers were missing their best player, and they still couldn't beat them. What makes you think 9.5 tonight is a good line? I didn't like the 9.5, 10 on Monday.
I think the Celtics probably win, but I think the Sixers cover again. I don't see them getting. They showed me too much heart at the end of the first half that they're going to lose by double digits.
And that was a lot of the quote from all the players after the game. Doc said, let's get to the fourth quarter and we'll win this game. Let's get to the fourth quarter, not too far behind. I think it was tied going into the fourth, 83 all, I believe. That's what they did. And Doc is putting these guys' heads. Get it to the end, and we're going to win this game.
P.J. Tucker and DeAnthony Melton were great pickups because this isn't these aren't pushovers that we've had in the past here.
Yeah.
Those guys are dogs. And, with a dog comes a lot of heart. And, yeah, damn right. And, I think this team's tough. I do.
There's a reason why DMX was the one to write Who Let the Dogs Out. And it wasn't like, I don't know, Snow or Asher Roth. There's a reason why it was DMX.
Yeah.
I think Who Let the Dogs Out was the Baja Men.
No, I did I say Who Let the Dogs Out?
Yeah. I thought you were making a joke. I was letting
Jamie's looking at you like, what's the punchline here?
I was like, when's the Baja Men mention coming?
Do we have to break?
Anyway, Friday, come on out. We got an open house on Friday.
Friday, come back with
Check
a bunch
it out,
of guys that know music and sports.
97.5 The Fanatic. When we get back here on the John Kincade Show.
Without DMX. I thought you were joking.
Oh, man. We get back. There's no way tonight's game can be the same as the way the one Monday looked. Maybe the outcome can, but I don't think the in-game stuff will. And we're going to talk about that more here on the John Kincade Show here at 97.5
Now, back to the John Kincade Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Who's this, Jay-Z?
This is Beethoven. My mouth was open.
We head into the
ketchup?
final stretch of the morning, presented by Stretch Zone. You want to relieve sore muscles, increase your flexibility and range of motion, James? Well, book your free 30-minute stretch session today at StretchZone.com.
I drove by with the one.
Yes.
I guess it's technically Conshohocken. It's right there on Ridge Avenue.
Okay.
And I had a little time to kill. I didn't have nearly enough time. And I thought about going and getting my 30
What do you get, 30 minutes? Yeah.
30-minute free stretch, yeah.
Well, you could have had time to do it.
Evaluation.
Make sure you wear socks that don't have any holes in them.
Yeah.
They'll make fun of you for that.
And don't hang out with Bob in a windowless room.
Whew. No idea what you.
What were they serving for dinner last night? Beef
I didn't have dinner
stroganoff?
there last night. I had
It
pizza. at
smells
home.
like hot ass in here.
It wasn't me.
Like,
You got some nerve.
wait. It wasn't
Stop.
me.
You're getting too silly.
You
Too
pointed.
loose.
You're strong.
Son of a bitch, Bob.
So Friday.
Broken the show, dude.
Don't forget, go to 97.5thefanatic.com.
And you can experience this for yourself.
And you can come in on Friday, hang out with us in studio.
It's not good. I'm not sure. I'm not like playing an act here.
I have no idea. You guys are idiots.
Harsh work conditions.
You're the best actors there are in the world. That's all I can say. All right. Tonight, Sixers Celtics game 2.
In on the funk. I'm out on the stank.
Hard out on the stank.
Yeah.
You pointed your chocolate starfish right at me. And you blew hot funk right in my face. And then you act like you didn't do it. And it's a violation when you could leave the studio and do it.
I haven't left the studio all day long. Aren't you proud of me?
No, I'm not. In that instance, I wanted you to.
Oh, stop. You guys are making...
What's with you two and the giggles?
I don't know.
Did you guys all do edibles before I got here?
Bob
I'm
lost.
fine in here.
Stoned out of
Bob
his
lost.
mind.
I think that room's being hot boxed in more ways than one.
Just be happy you're in there, Connor.
Yeah, you should be.
I can't smell. I'll go
Sixers
anywhere.
basketball tonight. Let's go. Playoffs. Game through.
All right,
two.
what came through?
To deuce.
What changes most about tonight's
Bob
game?
does.
Because it's not going to be the same. You're not going to have two teams that shoot, 75% in the first half, that shoot as well as they did the other night. What kind of game are you expecting tonight? What do you look for? And I'm not saying in the Sixers' advantage or disadvantage, but before we go into that, what kind of game you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be high scoring again because I don't think even though this is I think they were 7th, the Sixers in total team defense, and the Celtics were the only team in the NBA to be top 5 in both offense and defense. It's kind of deceiving because the defense was not good on Monday night. So, I think guys showed an ability to get to the hole. Boston attacked early. Doc's going to have to, go in and out of zone and man like he did last game again. But I'm most interested to see how they handle James Harden and how aggressive he is from the tip tonight. Because I think he knows he's got to be a 30-plus point. He's got to be 2017 James Harden a little bit again.
Yeah.
And can he do it? He certainly looked like he could on Monday. We'll see what Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics, throw at him this time to counter that. Because if you take away 45 from James Harden, you're going to need Toby to give you probably 25, 26. You're going to need PJ Tucker to give you those 6 or 8 points. You're going to need DeAnthony Melton to be hot again. You're going to need a lot if you're going to lose those 15 points from Harden. But I think he's got to be a 30-point guy for this to be another win. But I'm most interested to look at that and how the Celtics attack him.
So I think the one thing that they will do tonight more than they did in game 1, and they did do it sometime in game 1, is
I don't know what's going on in here, man.
I can't tell you. I have no idea.
Bob just wrote me a note.
Do you want to pass this over? Not the note.
Do we have to show the YouTube
Bob
camera?
just wrote me a note that just said, I let the dogs. I let the dogs out.
Oh, Jamie.
So Bob said,
So
no,
if
we're
I'm
not
the
gonna do it.
Celtics,
from behind the glass.
Now,
back
if
here.
I'm the
Zach,
Celtics,
no, I'll take it. I'll take it from here.
I think I'm jumping at the ball more. I'm like every time Harden has it, I'm
right.
jumping guys at him, double teaming.
Thanks, Freddie. Farts a lot. Let me take it from here, bud. I think it's going to be a lot like more defensively oriented. I think the under's probably going to hit in this game. I think to your point, Bob,
You can't shoot that well again, right?
No, and I don't think either team will. I think they probably look to jump Harden quite a bit. I think they look to make him make the play and make the outlet pass. Good luck because he led the league in assists, and I'm sure he'll turn the ball over, but he's going to find the open guy more times than he won't. And I think you kind of saw that a little bit towards the end of the game where they jumped him, and he was able to find B-ball Paul streaking down the lane.
Over-unders at 216 on Bet Park.
I would take that. No matter what it is, I'd take the under.
I think so. I think I'm looking more at a 100 to 96 type of game also.
I don't think so. There's too much scoring power.
Yeah, there is a lot of that. Defense is going to be the key for both coaches, though, going into the next game.
Yeah.
What do you do different? I think Doc
Reed's got to be somewhat of a rim protector without getting in foul trouble.
Yeah, and that's almost an impossible ask.
It's a hard thing to ask,
Yeah,
right?
It's a real tough balance for a guy that's known to kind of be in early foul trouble throughout his young career.
But like PJ Tucker, I trust immensely defensively right now.
Right.
I don't know what his foul total was last game.
He had 4 or 5.
Don't waste any.
You know what I mean? He had 5.
I'm interested to see what they do with the rotation of Melton and McDaniels. Because it was something that you brought up, Bob, that you found interesting, and I didn't think about it at the time, but after you pointed it out, I did. They used Jalen McDaniels quite a bit, and I wonder if that's going to be a situation of, all right, we need to kind of get back in this game, throw Melton out there, or all right, we have the lead, let's have some stops, let's get Jalen McDaniels and his length out there, because I do think it's going to be a highly contested, hard-fought defensive struggle, and defensive battle, and I think Jalen McDaniels will probably have more minutes than D'Anthony Melton tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you a guy that might be important. And it was funny. When it hit me, I was calling for D'Anthony Melton. I'm like, why don't you have him out there, Doc? They're on the defensive end, the Sixers are. Ball goes into a corner to Tatum, and he tries a spin move. He tries to do something like that to get somewhere, not necessarily to the rim, and he had nowhere to go. And it was Jalen McDaniels on him, and I was like, oh, okay, that's why, my fault. Like, I questioned somebody, found myself being wrong about it, and I think Doc had a good game plan there. Ron in Dallas, PA, he's got some thoughts on the Sixers for tonight. What's up, Ron? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys, thanks for letting me call in. I don't want to get ahead of myself with this team. And one thing in life with Philly, all my Philly teams, and I say that as all of us, like we say this, it's our team. With the Eagles with Foles, it's like it's underdog, and it's like we're probably third as our record shows, in the standings, but it's just like how great would that be? And again, I don't want to get ahead, I don't want to jinx us, but after that. A heart-ripping loss. To Kansas City, our Eagles. To just walk out or have that parade for the Sixers. It would just be amazing. And this is this game that we just won with our backups without Embiid. Although Harden isn't a backup, but again he stepped up. It would be so amazing if these guys could pull out a game two. But do you think, my question to you guys is, do you think that they're just going to be like, you know what, we got one up on them, we're good to go, let's just kind of, go in there, show our whatever, and then, take it back here, or do you think that they're going to be going for the jugular? Do you think?
I gotta tell you right there, Ron, and thanks for the call. If they're satisfied, that is a loser mentality. No chance, no way. Is it in the back of your mind of, we already got one, so no, that's not how professional athletes are wired. And if they are, they're not winners. No, you're going out there to win that game too, as hard as you went out there to win that game one, Joel Embiid or not. And I think you're going to get the same type of effort, maybe not results, but effort from James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, everybody across the board. It did flash into my mind. See if you guys agree with this. We were talking earlier, Jamie, I don't know if it's before you came on or not, when Pat brought up George Niang, and I said, I don't see him in this series. Defensively, it's just not there. However, talking about how Boston might try to contain James Harden tonight with throwing doubles at him.
Well, there's an interesting aspect of that, and that's Marcus Smart. He's questionable. He's a game-time decision tonight.
With the chest?
P.J. Tucker whooped his ass legally the other night. I don't know. Like, that's I know I'm a P.J. Tucker stan here.
You are.
But watch that dude set picks. Watch him off ball. He beats people up.
I know
it's awesome.
I know you didn't like the broadcast, but I don't know if I've ever heard a broadcast point out a guy's physical picks the way that
Dude, he was hitting
broadcast
people like
pointed
Trotter.
out. Yeah, like I think guys will throw a physical pick every single game, right? But the fact that the broadcast,
He does it every time.
the fact that the broadcast was noticing it so much, in particular Reggie Miller, guy who probably dealt with that quite a bit, he was noticing it so much that he felt the need to say it out loud, knowing that, PJ Tucker's not adding anything in terms of points.
Yeah.
But he wanted to point out what PJ Tucker does, and one of the things was set the physical pick.
And that's when you bring up Harden. That's a huge part of it because Marcus Smart was on him a lot last game, and Harden actually lit him up. His shooting percentages when guarded by Smart was like really freaking good. Now what do they do? If he's not in the game tonight, who do they throw at him? Yeah, Brogdon probably gets bumped up, and he's a pretty solid defender.
Yeah,
but he's not as good as Marcus Smart. So how does that? What's the trickle down there? Does that free up a Toby if somebody slot? You know what I mean? Like, so the Marcus Smart thing is something to keep an eye on because that's a pretty big deal for them.
I hadn't heard about it. I hadn't heard that he was questionable tonight.
He's questionable.
I'll tell you what, they did show him on the bench at one point, and
he was hurting.
I said to Don, I go, that doesn't, like, he was holding his chest.
Yeah.
And I got nervous. Yeah, and I was like, because you don't want to say anything with the chest. We've seen it. And I was like, damn, he looks like something's really wrong with him. And then when he got up, it was just like, yeah, he looks like he's been beaten up tonight.
Yeah, it's called P.J. Tucker.
Yeah. Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small businesses, remote workers, and learners, and even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
And the video I showed you yesterday of P.J. Tucker yelling at Paul Reed on the bench.
Oh, my God.
If that doesn't fire you up for playoff basketball, I don't know what will.
Apparently that's a trend, too.
With everybody towards Paul Reed.
Which is a credit.
Because they love him and they know he can be better.
And it's a credit to Paul because he's able to take it and he knows to what you're saying and that they want him to be better. But it was something that...
They don't treat him with kid gloves, that's for sure.
It was something that I guess was brought up with the last game in Brooklyn that Embiid missed, of Harden telling him, seize this opportunity. And I guess at halftime, P.J. Tucker lit in at Paul Reed and not necessarily blamed him, but was like, yo, we need more out of you. This is absurd.
It seems to be good cop, bad cop to me, outside looking in.
Yeah, Toby's probably
Paul
good
Reed.
cop.
Toby's the good cop.
Don't worry about a kid. They just want the best out of you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You did that well.
Yeah.
And then when he screws up,
that's what they're talking about.
Yeah,
and then P.J. Tucker and Harden are like,
yeah.
come on.
Yeah. So the point that I was getting at with George Niang is that
can you hide him in his zone?
Exactly. Well,
if
that's
you need
what
a couple three balls, you have to hide
try
him
to
in
get
zone
him
somewhere.
Low in the zone, in the corner.
Take the baseline corner.
Yeah. Hopefully they attack.
Just
make
run
him
out
on the
on a
weak
shooter.
side. Sure. Just try to keep your ground and get a hand on the shooter. But if they're going to play defense like Missoula kind of showed the other night, where they started to jump at Harden with the ball once he passed half court. Well, what's your natural reaction? What do you tell a coach or tell a player as a coach? You see the double coming, you get rid of it right before it comes. Well, that means open wing players. So that's maybe where George Niang's effective for you tonight. Maybe we do see more minutes out of him. Do you guys have a lack of confidence in him?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, defensively, you can't go man.
Oh.
Because he's probably going to be drawing a Brown or somebody like that, and that's just an unfair matchup.
Yeah.
You're going to get exploited. But if you can hide him in a zone for 6 to 8 minutes and try and create some threes, he's a guy that's capable of getting hot off the bench and giving you that 10 or 12 points if he's shooting well. He's a strange X factor with this team.
He is. That's a good way of putting it. Strange X factor. Yeah. If they played Milwaukee,
because he can get you both ways.
Exactly. Yeah. So
positively and negatively.
I don't know, Pat. If we see him for more than 10, 15 minutes tonight, is that a good thing?
I'll go with yes.
Good answer. Thank you.
Well, I had to think about it.
Okay. And you came up with a very...
I'll go with yes.
Short answer. Yeah. That's all right.
What do you want from me? I think it's a good thing.
I don't want anything from it. I think you've done a hell of a job all day.
You kind of PJ Tuckered me this entire show. You beat me up a little bit.
I don't think I have.
Just want to go to the sidelines and grab my chest.
So the Celtics showed what they are on Monday as almost as much as they can. Great scoring from Jason Tatum. Great scoring from Jaylen Brown. Out-rebounded the Sixers. Shot the ball extremely well. Took the ball to the basket extremely well. What concerns you going into tonight that could change for the Celtics that might lead to a Sixers loss?
Offensive rebounds. I thought the Sixers got away with allowing a little too many the other night. If that happens again, I don't like their odds. Like, you got to just watching Knicks Miami last night. NBA playoffs almost come down to offensive boards.
Yeah.
Those second chance opportunities are killers.
They could have lost the other night on that.
They got lucky.
They did get lucky. Horford had got 2 offensive rebounds. Horford made a layup to put them up 1.
Yeah, if that happens again, I don't like their odds. So they got to do a little better job rebounding, and I think that's what scares me the most. You can't give Boston's too good to give them second chance opportunities.
I will go with I think it's chalk, but them shutting down Harden. If James Harden goes out there and has 20 points, they ain't winning.
What if he has 20 and Maxey has 38?
That's.
I mean, I'm not being.
I know, and that's.
You know what I'm saying.
If someone could pick up the slack, it's different for sure. But I think if they shut down James points wise, I think it's still going to be a struggle. I don't know if I'm all that confident in Maxey going off. Let's say if they are double teaming and triple teaming James Harden. I'm not saying he can't do it. You got to game 1. But I'm just a little bit hesitant.
He has to. Here's one thing that I think has to happen tonight, and it could be kind of a dagger for Boston that didn't happen all that much the other night. We talked about the great pass that Harden threw out to Tobias Harris for that three-pointer.
That was nasty.
Nasty, Drew, defense. I don't even know how. Still don't know how he got it there. But Tobias banged that shot.
Yeah, just shoot. There was another opportunity for Tobias in the fourth quarter where he had the open shot, did the pump fake, put the ball on the ground, and I was like, no, dude, just shoot.
Right. He backed down and shot a fadeaway, and it was short. But there were like 3 or 4 other times in the game where he had open shots, and he took them, and he didn't make them. I really think a dagger is on those big shots, on those wide open shots.
I expect a good game out of him tonight.
Yeah, me too. I think that's a dagger for Boston.
I think you're going to get like a 25 and 10 out of him.
If Boston turns around and says, all right, there's the dribble drive, kick out, it's Tobias Harris. Oh, damn, he just hit another 3. I think that is a huge – they got Harden. They got Maxey. Now this Harris guy's going off too. Are you kidding me? I think that would be really big to the help of the Sixers tonight. And a detriment to Boston trying to think they can come back and win this game and or series.
Yeah, look, if the Sixers win tonight, the series is over.
Yes.
I agree.
I mean, I think it's when the road team wins game 1, it's 78% of the time. And I hate hearing this stuff because I always like cringe a little.
Because immediately you go,
because you sound like a nerd boy.
That means 22%, and we're Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, oh, don't bring that up.
I know.
When they say in the broadcast, I'm like, stop.
I know. I hate it, but it is 78% of the time you win the first game. The team goes on to win the series. If you go up 2-0, it's over. If you get the MVP,
2-0, and you come back home.
Getting home, getting the award in the building, you bring out Jalen Hurts to ring the bell. Celtics are toast.
Bring out who'd you want? What horrible
Howie Roseman.
Yeah, you bring out Howie Roseman and bring the bell. He's not wearing a tie. It's cool. It's a horrible.
Wow,
he's really letting loose.
It's a horrible.
3/4 zip on
with horrible.
He doesn't strike me as a quarter zip guy.
No, quarter zip's elite.
I think he strikes me as a quarter.
You think he's a
zip guy.
quarter zip?
Yeah.
I think he's a suit everywhere. Maybe sometimes a blazer.
No, I think he's a quarter zipsman.
I don't think he's a sweats guy.
No,
I don't see many sweats in his closet.
I see him being a Balenciaga, sweatshirt with holes in it though. I could see Howie rocking
$1,400.
Yeah, I could see Howie rocking what Joel rocked the other night.
I could see that.
Can I ask you guys though, real quick, going back to the game, the Jason Tatum effect with the Boston Celtics? I know the matchup zone helped shut down the Celtics a little bit from what they were in the first half. Do you guys feel like the Sixers have a good option for guarding Jason Tatum right now? Because I don't.
Here's the concern with a PJ Tucker. As much as we like his defense, he's not that quick of foot.
Right.
I mean, we got to be honest. He's going to try to bump and shove and take you off your spot that way. If Jason Tatum's starting to take him off the dribble at 25, 26 feet, I think PJ Tucker's going to get in major foul trouble.
Yeah, and that's my worry. Like, if you ask me my big worry about tonight's game, I still don't have a lot of confidence in an individual on the Sixers to guard Jason Tatum.
You know who would have to step up in that role if you're going to do it?
Jalen McDaniels, probably.
I'd say if you have your starters on, it's got to be Tobias Harris,
yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah, but they tried Tobias, and
They did.
I mean, he wasn't working either.
You know, it's funny. Somebody said to me the other day, I was complaining about somebody's defense, and they said, you can have an off night defensively too. Just like you have an off night offensively. Maybe your shot's not falling.
I mean, Tatum was on fire. I know there was some open looks, but Tatum was killing him.
He could not miss.
He was.
And Tatum's a great player. I'm not saying he can't do it again, but, as much as it was poor defense, it was also an elite player on fire. So, you can look at it both ways.
This is funny. I've been thinking about it ever since you brought it up. I don't like Malcolm Brogdon in the starting lineup. He was
Talk
one
dirty
of my.
to me, Bobby.
I don't know. That just gives them too many offensive weapons, Boston, to me.
Well, they're
right
not
off the
very
bat.
deep. They're
not very deep.
Their
No.
depth gets overrated. They really only run 7
He's
guys.
their depth.
Yeah.
And he's a great bench player.
Awesome bench player.
I don't need a threesome of Brown, Brogdon, and Tatum coming out and scorching you offensively right off the bat.
No,
I guess is my point.
But in the Sixers' defense there, they've already survived getting scorched off the bat.
I get what you said. Sixers defense there, like they play defense.
I didn't
do it
mean
well
to
in the
do
first
that.
half. That was
But they already know that they can come back and survive that. And that's mentally, something to, fall back on and go, all right, we've been here before. Let's do it again.
All right, now I know it's only the second round, but the fact that they're not a deep team, as you said, and they pretty much rotate 7 guys, the fact that they went 6 games with Atlanta and the Sixers had all that rest and they rotate more guys in, do you think there's a chance that as the series goes on, Boston kind of loses their legs a little bit? Or is it too early in the playoffs where that really shouldn't?
I mean,
matter?
they probably didn't think they were going 6 games with Atlanta.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. Like, you had to travel down to Atlanta, which Bob's always lays out. Like, that's annoying.
It's annoying, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we should have finished this at home. We got to travel down. We got to play one more game. You play that game, and you're back to.
And the Sixers didn't have to get on a plane.
No. Well, they did. I mean, they had to get back. They had to get on a plane to go to Boston.
Well, they could have taken the train, but I'm saying in the first round series,
First round Brooklyn,
Could have driven. The Sixers took the mega bus.
Well, yeah, and the train's the best way to go.
Khalil Wilson has a good line to me. He says, Brogdon in the starting lineup is a good plus for us, Bob. What do you mean? Did you see the pass he threw to Maxey?
He's got a point.
He does have a point, Khalil. You're right.
Did you see NBC Sports Philly trolling him?
Yeah, that was awesome.
After the game.
Oh, the bottom thing?
Yeah, they showed Tyrese Maxey's stat line, and then they put in the quirky, nice pass, Brogdon.
That I can't stand.
They're having fun with. You can't what?
I can't stand Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh,
I have like an unhealthy disdain for that guy. And I think it boils down.
Where does that come from?
I know.
I think it boils down to
very odd.
Yeah, it
University
is.
of Virginia? Like
No. There's plenty of great athletes from Virginia. I think it boils down to I've never gotten over the fact that he won Rookie of the Year over Joel, and I took it as a personal attack.
But he didn't.
He did.
He did.
Brogdon won Rookie of the Year over
did.
Joel.
And
okay.
It was
Sarge
Joel,
was
Sarge, and Malcolm Brogdon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Ben Simmons' year that he won it.
It's fine. You don't know basketball.
I don't.
I've never gotten over it, and then I realized the other night while watching the game that he looks like the spitting image of Pete from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Who's John Turturro.
Yeah.
I don't know
looks
what
like
any
his
of those
character.
words mean.
Huh.
Yeah, you're not a
You know
movie
who
guy,
it
no.
reminds me of when I watch him play? A slightly worse Andre Miller.
That's a good.
They have the same like boxy
They do have the
shoulder, like kind of athleticism to them, and it's kind of like slow but also fast, and they're just kind of smart, heady
Now,
players.
With all that said, he's a that I've always just despised and always wanted on my team.
Yeah.
Like, it annoyed me when Boston went out there and got him. I was the same way with Seth Curry. I couldn't stand Seth Curry, and I always wanted him on my team, and it was cool when he was here. But Malcolm Brogdon, for whatever reason, he's one of those guys that just.
Seth Curry's going to be back here next year.
I don't think so.
I think so too.
I don't think they're going to be able to afford him.
It doesn't matter.
I think I know for a fact he loved his time in.
Well, I
Philadelphia.
know for a fact that he loves money.
That's true. But I don't think he has to worry about it.
7.5. He doesn't, but I still think it's.
Well, it all depends how much money they have. If Harden leaves, you have more
His
money.
last contract though wasn't that great for him, right? Because it was like a 4-year deal.
Yeah, it was a very affordable.
It was one of
deal.
those like, all right, I've scratched and clawed my way to the NBA, and I finally got some job security, but I didn't really necessarily like secure all that great of a paycheck. And I think he's going to go and try to actually
coming back.
get quite a bit of money. I hope you're right.
The Sixers are going to talk
I
to
would
Howie
love it.
Roseman and how to do it and how he's going to show.
I definitely don't think he's back with Brooklyn because they didn't.
No, he doesn't
wants-
want to be there.
He
at all.
wants to distance himself from Ben
but
Simmons
also,
at this point.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
100%.
good.
But they didn't use him. I was shocked
they
at how
didn't
little
use
they
him.
used him in the playoffs.
Chris Clevenger tweets in, how about since we can't get Andrew Toney, the Boston Strangler, we get another Boston Strangler to ring the bell, Nick Foles.
I love what he did, but he's not. It doesn't do it for me.
But let's bring out Howie Roseman, this guy says.
Yeah.
Jeez, Bob.
Hey, train for a career in broadcast media, web development, social media marketing, and filmmaking at CSB Media Arts Center in Cherry Hill. Go CSB.com. That's go CSB.com. All right, predictions for tonight. Let's get them out of the way. Connor, I'm going to start with you up in Boston. Should we all just make the assumption Embiid's out?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
All right, let's do that then. Let's make these predictions. Joel Embiid, in our minds, will not play tonight. Connor, what say you about the result?
I hate the Boston Celtics, but they're too good of a team to allow themselves to drop one with their backs against the wall like this. Celtics are going to win 114 to 108.
Wow. Pat, what do you got?
I would be very surprised if they won. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. I think it's just a really tough task. I think Boston answers the bell. I will go with Boston wins 102 to 97.
James?
I'm going to say Boston wins. I'm going to go 111, 105.
What's the key for you guys tonight? The other night, I didn't like the Sixers early on because they were giving up easy baskets, backdoor cuts, too much transition by Boston. Late in the game, you get offensive rebounds that leads to an Al Horford lap. The intangibles that I talked about all the time. What is it about Boston that you think tonight gives you the results you just gave? More so than anything. Connor?
It's just
they score more points than the Sixers.
Yeah, they score 6 more, whatever the math is. No, I literally think it's just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to. They've been here enough times to know what it takes to not go down 2-0 in a series to a team without their best player. They're just too talented.
Yeah, Jason Tatum's an MVP caliber player, and I just don't see him losing twice at home. I hope I'm wrong.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I just think he'll be too much. He's a great player.
Yeah, the Sixers had to kind of scratch and claw their way to win game one, and for the majority of that game, they were losing. So I just find it hard to believe that at home, I think Boston was kind of surprised at how it went because they had the Sixers number for the whole season, and really when push came to shove and they needed a big shot, Boston would hit it. I think they were taken a little bit by surprise in game one, and I think they kind of battened down the hatches in game two. Defensively, they kind of stymied the Sixers offense.
All right, I'll be the good guy on the show. I think Tyrese Maxey picks up scoring unbelievably tonight. I mentioned 38 earlier. I'll stick with that. I still think Harden gets you to 25. I think the frustration is going to be that Boston will find offense early in the game, but they're not going to be able to separate themselves from the Sixers. And I think at some point it's going to be like one of those, what the hell do we have to do to get rid of these guys? I think the Sixers wind up frustrating Boston tonight and somehow eking out
This
a 106.
might change your prediction.
102.
This is major. I'm not stopping you or interrupting you for anything else, but Shams Charania just tweeted 50 seconds ago.
Don't tell me that.
After winning MVP last night during a quick 76ers celebration, Joel Embiid turned to his team and said, "I'm back." Embiid is indeed on track to return tonight in Game 2 versus the Celtics, barring any setbacks, sources tell The Athletic and at Stadium.
Woo! Oh, boy, what a way to end the show. Good job, Jamie Lynch. That's why you are here. All right. Are you going to change your predictions now very quickly?
Sixers win by 40.
Sixers blow them out.
Sixers by
100.
4.
I hope y'all keep trusting the process.
Oh, man, we thank you for joining
can't
us
wait to
here
see him.
on the John Kincade Show today. What a way to end. Looks like Embiid might be back tonight. Stay tuned all day long. Listen to Anthony Gargano. After that, the best show ever. And then tonight, we'll do the pregame. It'll be Devon Givens and myself from 6 to 8 o'clock, taking you right into Sixers basketball here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Thank you for joining us on the John Kincade Show. John, get better. And I want to tell you, remember to support life-saving cancer research.